well over 90% of men. And unlike groups that only offer wave therapy or online pharmacies that just sell pills, we offer a variety of treatments to help get you the results you want. You should also know that Northeast Men's Health is a true medical practice, which means our providers have access to a complete range of treatment options to get you back on track. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes a medical consult, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's Hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife, Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day, and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminar's Early Bird Special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden in Hartford North, Bradley International Airport in Windsor. Weight Loss Seminar 5:30. Stop Smoking Seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express, Southington. Weight Loss Seminar 11 a.m. Stop Smoking Seminar 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
Actual price will depend. Prescription plan featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! Scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, and patriots. Let's give it up for Charlie Kirk, ladies and gentlemen. Patriot, and dare I say martyr today. And we can all be happy or proud at law enforcement for doing their job and finding the individual who is responsible for taking the life of somebody who inspired so many. And as much as I'm going to talk about that, and I'll get into it, I'll get very, very deep into this because there are several questions that need to be asked. But I may have to, and I'm not trying to do it to be mean. I'm not sitting up on high, thumbing my nose at these people. I see it a lot, and I try to ignore it. I never put or bring attention to certain things that I think are of no consequence. I know that people are grasping at things to sort of start a conversation and then sort of patting themselves on the back afterwards and saying, see, I started that. I pick it up real quick. It's so easy to point out. And I don't mention those people's names because it doesn't matter whether or not they have a whole lot of influence. It doesn't matter whether or not they have more followers than me. I ain't looking for that. I've said that a long time ago. Never cared. I'm just a guy. I cover the news. I cover it in a unique way, and I talk about it with you. This isn't about fame. It was a long time ago when I used to think it was. But it's not. I have a job to do. So I'll try not to address it in a way that I'm like, like I said, looking down my nose towards these people. I get it. I know who they are and why they do the things that they do. It's like a twitch. But it'll be later on in the show. I don't even want to get into so much about this young man and his twisted view on the world. But I do have to say this before we get into it. And this is one of the cases where I'm going to mention his name because it's important to this conversation. We are not looking at somebody who was mentally deranged, other than the fact that he thought, felt, or understood in his own mind that his actions were necessary, pure, and righteous. People love to use the term mental or a diseased mind. No. There's more to this than that. And I thought about this before the show. Reese, you don't want to come off as blaming the other side and pointing fingers. I don't. I don't want to point at the other side. I don't want to point fingers. But I'm sorry, folks, I don't have a choice. I don't. Because what I am doing is not what Tyler Robinson did here. I am not calling for anyone to be harmed. I am calling for people to reflect. There's a difference. And that conversation could be had with Charlie Kirk, asking him to reflect on what he was thinking. That's what this whole thing was about. That's what this conversation is about on this program, is asking you to reflect on what you are thinking. If I think that what your beliefs are wrong, I want to ask you questions. Okay, why? What does that mean? Why do you think that? I want to investigate it. When I first got here, there were people who told me, and you know who you are, and I'm not admonishing people here, but you know who you are. You told me, why do I bother? You said, why you bother, Reese? They're never going to get it. And I said, I need to understand why people think the way that they think. In order for me to influence them, in order for me to find where they are and to get them to some semblance of reality, I have to know why they think the things that they do. It is important to the conversation. You guys have come a long way from when you used to attack me about that. Just hang up on them. Man, when you talk to that guy, people turn away. And I got to be honest with you. So what? I'm not here for you. With all due respect, this is not an echo chamber. I said it from the beginning, and I've been true to that. I want to speak to the other side. Got to. You know it, and I have been absolutely that way from the beginning. And I told them, I said, I know they won't come. I know they won't be here, but the invitation is always open. It has been wide open. Sure, many of them will meet me in the chat room. They've joined me in the chat room, and they have been fearful to come here and get on the phones so I can talk it out, and I'll give them as much time as they need. But if you thought you were going to get a show where we were all going to pat each other on the back and talk about how profound and how righteous we were, that was never going to be the beginning or the end of this program. It's never going to be that way. So, We have to think. And that is people on the left, too, who listen to this program. We have to think about what we know now. Where did Tyler Robinson get his beliefs from? Stop and ask yourself, where? From what we've learned about the community he lived, it was an overwhelmingly traditional neighborhood with traditional ideals. His father, law enforcement. His mom, doting. She loved her children. She reveled in how smart her boy was. There's an X feed that shows how this woman was just showing all of these pictures of Tyler, how proud she was of him, how smart he was, what his test scores were. She held him on high. We are not looking at a child who was unloved. So what happened to him? As many people are saying right now, it was indoctrination, social media, and friends. Yes, yes, but it ain't that simple. Whom did he listen to? Who were the thought leaders he followed? What did he write on those bullets that are similar to those ideals? I'd like to throw a quick one out there. This must be dealt with ideologically, and the question must be asked again. Whether it's Anderson Cooper or Aaron Burnett or Dana Bash or Brett Baer or anyone, when this individual goes on their book tour, this question must be asked. Why? Because of what we know that was written on the bullets.
Let me ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Where did he get his beliefs from? These are important things to ask. As these people ask for your votes, as these people ask for your support, they must be asked, what do they think about people who think differently from them? We know they have said the people they are in opposition to are fascists. And Tyler wrote, said, hey, fascists, catch. This is not one of those whataboutisms. Whataboutism is important to people who are trying to deflect, to get as far away from the responsibility now. And don't get me wrong. No one is responsible for what Tyler Robinson decided to do 2 days ago. But you have to ask, where did he get his beliefs from? And I say that because, do you remember when we were told certain people had to be deprogrammed? That some people had to be taken out of their brainwashed state? Does anybody remember the word cult being bandied about? Does anybody believe that Tyler Robinson was sitting alone quietly, drumming up the word fascist by himself? The idea that Charlie Kirk, a guy who was politically active, a guy who was in his own honest way, was a kingmaker when it came to the young vote for Donald J. Trump? He was the most influential political leader of a generation. The kids he influenced are referring to him as John F. Kennedy. They are referring to his assassination in the same way. His influence as a political leader is being compared to that of an assassination of a president. They saw Charlie Kirk as a possible president of the United States who was only 4 years away from being eligible. Yeah. His birthday next month. When you hear about Charlie Kirk and you hear these people posting things about Charlie Kirk's vitriol and fascism, when you hear that, I want you to listen to this. When you think about Tyler Robinson, think about this.
You, I hate you.
Would you like to have a substantive conversation, or?
A substitute? No, man.
Would you like to have a conversation?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like you. I think you spread hate. I think you spread bigotry. I think you piss a lot of people off because you're just an awful person. I don't think you really want to debate because you're just here to piss people off and energize your crowd of racists.
What have I ever said that's racist?
Oh, what?
Can you name one thing?
I'm Hispanic. Can I support Charlie?
Can you name
Does that mean anything? I think you're just trying to play a game, and I think this is obviously going to be used.
What have I ever said that's
hateful? I just
hateful?
want to hate you. You're awful. Get off my campus.
When have I ever said anything that's hateful? Have a nice day.
As I was talking to Roseanne yesterday, and I said, look at the two people having a discussion. One person calm, collected. The other person cursing, screaming, hollering, calling him a racist, a fascist, ticking people off, calling people who supported him racist. I love the way that people are posting when I'm asking simple questions about what did he deserve, and people keep posting what it was he said, allegedly. By the way, I fact-checked a couple of you, and I posted it underneath your little posters and your memes. What happened? What happened? Nothing. You didn't apologize. You didn't take the post down, but you were fact-checked. That young man that you just heard was an acolyte of Tyler Robinson and his rhetoric, wasn't he? We know, confirmed, having spoken to folks, law enforcement has found people said that Tyler was openly talking about his hatred for Charlie Kirk and the fact that he was coming into town. His hatred for him. We got breaking news on that, by the way. We'll get to that later. That which you heard. Racist, they said. Here's Charlie Kirk and some more of his racism.
Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around.
That's Charlie Kirk talking to a black mother at one of his events on a college campus.
You know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So
we'll play some more of that later. Such bigotry. I heard so much hatred in that. There's so much in there. We got more news and more views. We're not done with this. We'll get into Tyler Robinson, what he planned on doing before his father turned him in. when we come back. Stand by. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080.
Guess who's watching Rob Finnerty on Newsmax? President Trump is. He even says Finnerty's show is so terrific. Millions are joining President Trump to watch Finnerty every night at 8 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax. All this week, Rob looks at the media's war on President Trump. Rob gives you the facts about the National Guard in cities like New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. He tells you the real truth about the Jeffrey Epstein files, and he reveals the big media's agenda on Trump's health. You need to watch Rob Finnerty on Newsmax. Check out your local cable system. Newsmax is on all major systems. Or download the free Newsmax app. It costs you nothing, and you can watch in minutes. Finnerty is the fastest-growing primetime news show in America. Find out why even President Trump is tuning in. More than 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for news they can trust. Because we are real news for real people.
And now, a WTIC News Update.
75 degrees at 2:30. I'm John Silva. WTIC 1080 News. It's a mostly sunny Friday with temperatures in the 70s. Bob Cox has the forecast details coming up. Authorities have arrested a 22-year-old Utah man in connection with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Family members turned Tyler Robinson in. He was arrested this morning. Authorities say he was the triggerman who killed Kirk with one shot as the 31-year-old was addressing a crowd at a Utah university on Wednesday. Arrested in a New Haven sexual assault from last month, police there say 34-year-old Ludwig Carius Interiano is charged. It was August 9th that they say the suspect pulled a box cutter on a woman jogging in Fort Hale Park. He is being held on aggravated assault and other charges. President Trump says the Republican candidate for New York City mayor is not exactly prime time. Trump made the comments about Curtis Sliwa on Fox News this morning. Also criticized the candidate's plan to house rescue cats at the mayoral mansion if he wins. Holly Holiday, known for her role in the CBS sitcom Alice, has died. She was 88. Her agency says Holiday passed away Tuesday at her home in New York. She was on the show for its entire run from 1976 to 85, earning 4 Golden Globe nominations, winning one in 1980. WTIC News Time 2:31. Bob Cox with the forecast.
Pleasant weather conditions continue out there this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures in the 70s. Sundown at 7:05. Partly cloudy tonight, lows 48 to 56. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds Saturday, highs in the mid to upper 70s. There's a small chance for a shower later in the afternoon or evening in a few spots. Partly to mostly cloudy Saturday night, still the chance for a shower, lows 55 to 60. And a mix of sun and clouds on Sunday. We do have the chance for a shower or thunder shower, though much of the day will be dry. In fact, much of the weekend should be dry. Sunday's high around 80 degrees. And Monday through Wednesday look mostly sunny with highs near 80. I'm meteorologist Bob Cox in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wall Street, the Dow down 170 points. NASDAQ's up 107. S&P's up 7 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner from Money Wisdom. Tune in every week for insights on taxes, investments, income planning, Social Security, and so much more. Tune in to Money Wisdom Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Attention Southern New England HVAC and mechanical contractors. Eagle Rivet is your trusted roofing partner for professional roof penetrations and flashing. We ensure your customers' roofs remain watertight during installations, protecting their warranties. We also offer complimentary roof inspections to identify potential issues before any HVAC work begins. Call Eagle Rivet today at 860-953-1231 or visit us online at eaglerivet.com. That's EAGLERIVET.com. Eagle Rivet is proud to support Rebuilding Together Hartford.
Your portfolio might be growing, but is it paying you income? Growth is not the same thing as income. At Retirement Income Source Grant and Financial Group, we build custom portfolios that generate income. Stop selling assets to pay for your retirement. Call now for your free income consultation at 855-930-6293.
Investment advisory services offered by Sound Income Strategies, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisory firm. The Retirement Income Source and Sound Income Strategies are associated entities. Retirement Income Source with David Scranton is a paid program.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution.
Hey, Roland, I got to send you a
matter if
link.
you're
Do you
sitting in
think
your
you
car,
can
at work,
clean
or
it
with
up
your
for me
kids?
and just
No
send me
matter
back
where
the
you are,
audio?
Call now. 800-5...
when you going to do it now?
No, just have it for me in a little bit.
Or reduce
Okay.
I'll send it to you
the
now.
IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834.
It's just got some language in it by
800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates.
Swalwell.
Real solutions for real people.
I don't serve for the recognition. I serve the flag. The red, white, and blue, that means everything to me. And when I fly it, I know it stands for something real. My name is Megan Terry, and I serve in the U.S. Army, which is why I choose Collins flags. Because every Collins American and military flag is made here in the USA, stitched with pride and built to last. And they support veterans like me, because they know what these flags really mean. So if you love our service members and our country like I do, fly a flag that honors them and supports American jobs. Visit collinsflags.com today. American made, proudly waved.
You ever wonder why Verizon charges twice as much as Pure Talk for the same basic service? Think it might have something to do with the fact that Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion? That's billion with a B? Yeah. Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. That's why they can offer unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Save an additional 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say the words micro. That's pound 250, micro.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it?
All right, here we go.
People love it. Eligible items only.
Thank you.
Exclusions apply.
Listen to WTIC News Talk 1080 on the free Odyssey app. Download and like WTIC today for alerts on special programming.
We are back. Plenty of stuff to get into, of course, in relation to the assassin, Tyler Robinson, how he was apprehended, and what we are learning more and more about his father turning him in or telling him to turn himself in. We'll get into that in a very detailed way. So I've been challenged, or I've been challenged. It has been suggested by somebody on the left in my chat room and said, I'll read it exactly. It appears that Reese is going to sanitize Charlie Kirk's comments. I will play Charlie Kirk's comments, which is what I've been doing and have done. I will continue to do that. But I do suggest to you, Bob J., post any comments that you feel are problematic with video, not memes, not words that are taken out of context, actual video. Since you're sitting there by your laptop, go do the work I've done to prepare this show and share with the crowd, share with the class, exactly what you're talking about that you don't want sanitized. I will gladly play them raw right here on the air. Just make them available. I'll grab the clips and I will play them raw. The one thing that I know that in those comments, Charlie Kirk will not curse and he will not say anything inflammatory. I can bet on that. Here's why, Bob. Because I've listened to Charlie Kirk. I wouldn't consider myself a fan or a follower of his. I know his work, I know who he is, and I understand it, but that's my job. So I challenge you, sir, since I'm going to sanitize them, we'll give you the opportunity to take over a little portion of the show and post the so-called comments that you call inflammatory so that they're not sanitized. We'll wait, but we won't hold our breaths. Now, another person in the chat room has written this, and I would like to read it. Let me start by saying that Charlie Kirk nor anyone else should be killed for their beliefs. I take no solace in Kirk's death. However, that's a fancy word for but. And by the way, when you say however, you've completely deleted your earlier comment. Work on that. Work on that. However, I have read about Kirk's beliefs. You didn't hear them directly from Kirk? You read about his beliefs? And many seem to be racist. Seem, but not seem. Okay. You'd like to give an example. He gives one. For example, he did not believe the 1964 Civil Rights Act should have been passed. He goes on, and I'm going to address that. As a black male, how do you square your support of Kirk with his stance on civil rights? Admittedly, I don't understand black conservatives. I have listened to Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams. I'm assuming he means Peterson. Jesse Peterson, Larry Elder, Cornel West. Not Cornel West, right? I think he means Adam West. Sorry. And yourself. And I still don't get it. I'm not looking for an argument, just an understanding. I'm happy to help you. I heard this argument very early on, and it was not from Charlie Kirk the first time I heard it. I heard it from Rand Paul. Many of you who follow this and you are wonks like I am, you will probably remember that this argument was made by Rand Paul, and he got a lot of feedback for it. But when it was explained why he thought this way about the 1964 Civil Rights Act, people were like, okay, that makes sense. He wasn't saying that blacks were not afforded or shouldn't be afforded civil rights. He was saying that the Constitution already did that. Now think about it. The Civil Rights Act is what I call, and Charlie Kirk did, redundant. You see, the Constitution guarantees life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness to all Americans. For a Civil Rights Act to be written is a platitude. It's suggesting that it's a carve-out for a particular group of individuals, not seeing them as whole or human or part of the Constitution. When you do that, you give license to race baiters to say, see, we had to have a Civil Rights Act in this country because the Constitution did not afford them their basic human rights. And what Charlie Kirk was saying was that he was grabbing, the government was in essence telling private business owners how to behave. Can you imagine if you could do that for anything under the sun? If you had a carve out for a particular behavior or a particular way of life that would say that you are a protected class. Now, I'll go back just to the person who's writing. I'll go back, and I said this, and I told this story, and I tell it all the time because, again, for some odd reason, it keeps coming back up. I told you the story about a young lady that myself and Justin were driving down to Fredericksburg out of D.C. She was moving out of her D.C. apartment and moving back in with her parents. She was a lawyer for the Environmental Protection Agency under Joe Biden. And she was about to get promoted as an attorney somewhere else. She was a younger woman in her early 30s, late 20s. And Justin, I wish he didn't, my wife does it a lot, talked about my podcast and the things that I talk about. Oh, really? What do you talk about? And I hate it when people do that because then I'm stuck in a box with them to have to tell them about my conservatism. When I know, and I can tell from the way they speak, they're liberals and they're probably going to be uncomfortable. And I'm probably not going to get a tip. But in that conversation, we start talking about protected classes. And I gave her an example. And for those of you who have heard this before, I apologize for having to repeat it, but there are some new people out there listening for this particular questioner in the chat room. I asked her if a Muslim refused to bake a cake for a gay couple and a Christian baker denied making a gay couple a birthday cake or a wedding cake or a celebration, who had the protection of religious liberty? Her answer, I thought, would be, well, religious liberty is sacrosanct. A person says that they can't do something because of their religious faith, they are protected. Her answer was as to be expected. Well, what? Well, the Muslim you can understand, but the Christian, he should make the cake. Whoa, wait. My immediate response was, whatever happened to equal under the law? When it makes a lawyer, again, me, not a lawyer, I graduated from Law and Order University. 12 years I spent in that school. When an actual lawyer who passed the bar, which is very difficult to do from what I hear, is troubled by the idea of equal under the law, you understand exactly what Charlie Kirk is talking about. You are carving out a group of people as a protected class, therefore suggesting they have more human, civil, actual rights than everyone else. You may think that those things are important based upon your worldview, especially that of the United States. We have to have it, because if we don't, then people will be allowed to do this, that, and the third. Well, what have we seen thus far recently? We are seeing more and more white people suing their businesses that they used to work for, companies they used to work for. For what? For discrimination against their whiteness. Knowing that they were qualified, knowing that they had put in the time, knowing that they were overlooked. And people see those stories and they're completely shocked. A white man actually sued a company for civil rights. I've seen black people say it all over the time. I see them on the grill in every one of those black Twitter places saying a white man was actually suing for civil rights, and he won because guess what? Each and every one of them thought that the term civil rights was just for them. A carve-out for one particular group of people. They abandoned the idea that civil rights means that no one be discriminated against based upon their race or their gender. This includes white folks too, which is already embedded in the Constitution. Overkill. Redundant. So if you can't understand why he would say that, you obviously have not been listening to Charlie Kirk. It doesn't even take Charlie Kirk to explain that to you. It takes rationale. It takes, as you folks like to say, open-mindedness, being thoughtful and reflective. I don't even need to understand Charlie Kirk. I don't even need to follow him to understand it. I knew what Rand Paul meant when he said it. Because again, I'm always critically thinking. I am always going, yeah, that doesn't make sense. If we're all equal under the law, I don't need a carve-out. The Constitution already protects me because I am inherently American. Now, I hope that helped you. If it did not, that's fine too. But I need you to think about it. And think about it in an objective way. That's all it's about. It's not to be, divisive. It's not to be angry. It's not to be ticked off. It's nothing about that. It's about understanding what it is. I know you need the civil rights movement. I know that's important to people. And I understand that when it's personal to you, you have a hard time seeing outside of it. You become very, very, with you blinders on. You become myopic. I get it. But think about it. It's the Constitution. If you see yourself as an American, if you see yourself as a citizen of these United States, and you understand the Constitution, and you don't follow this stupid trope that it wasn't written for you, you got to get out of that mindset. The Constitution, you may not think it was written for you, but it is yours. Don't let the old white men, as you like to call them, by the way, they were all fairly young. Don't let this idea that because they were old and white and from the 1700s, that they weren't thinking about you in the future. They didn't even know you. The Constitution is for all American citizens, regardless of what you thought about them and their racial background or where they came from. They wrote a document wisely that protected us all. We don't need a carve-out. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Reese on the Radio returns in a moment.
Carbone's Kitchen is now open for lunch at noon. Sink your teeth into the Franklin Ave Chicken Panini with grilled chicken, pesto, and fresh mozzarella on toasted sourdough. Or savor our short rib grilled cheese with tender short rib, melty fontina, and garlic aioli. For a lighter option, try our salmon, tenderloin, or chicken with choice of 2 fresh sides. And of course, all our pasta is made fresh daily on our machine imported from Italy. Carbone's Kitchen. Italian comfort reimagined. And now Carbone's Prime is open for lunch too. See our menus at carboneskitchen.com.
If you have any sort of joint pain, you got to listen up. Whether it's from years of hard work or an old injury that never healed right, whatever it is, you can have it stop right now. I'm Brian Shackman here talking about QC Kinetics. You can flip the script. It's regenerative medicine, advanced cellular treatments that help your body heal and restore the damage in your joints. They don't cover it up. They don't cut it out. They're actually helping heal and restore. The results are long-lasting relief, and it's amazing. It's so busy here in Connecticut, they opened up a 3rd office. So instead of planning your day around pain, plan it around life, whether it's walking, hiking, playing with your kids, whatever. QC Kinetics can do without surgery, without drugs. Okay, give them a call. That first consultation is totally free. So bring your MRI, your x-rays, and find out if it's something for you. 860-440-PAIN. Again, it's 860-440-PAIN. They're located in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. So give them a call. Chances are it's close to you. That free consultation, 860-440-PAIN.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Hypnosis is designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick seminars. No matter how many times you tried to quit, this hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. That's right. Weight loss seminar Saturday, September 20th at the Holiday Inn Express in Southington. Time is 11 a.m. Registration begins at 10:30. Stop smoking seminar starts at 2 p.m. Registration starts at 1:30. Information at markpatrickseminars.com.
What is your next success story? At Global Campus, you can succeed again with more than 135 affordable online degrees and certificates to help you move your career forward. From cybersecurity and AI to healthcare and MBA, our programs help you build critical thinking, leadership, and communication skills that set you apart in today's job market. Designed for working adults, focused on the future. Classes start September 17th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, and new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back, and thank you. I want to thank Silvermind, who's on the YouTube page. Thank you so much. And I, again, trying to be spot on is something that I try to obtain all the time, so I thank you very much. I don't know if you're new here. I think you've been here before, but I just want to thank you. So I'm actually sending you a message that says thank you. In the chat room over on YouTube. I don't really promote a lot of the YouTube channel, probably because I don't understand it as much and I don't really have the time to learn. I need to get a tech guy or at least a social media guy on like my thing. Like it some people listen to it on YouTube. It grows, but Facebook is kind of where everybody goes, and I appreciate the viewership. As I said in the beginning of the show, I'm not in it for clicks. I'm not trying to be a shock jock, as I've often been accused of. I'm very thoughtful in this because I think a conversation is important. And I saw that statement in there about how Charlie Kirk's comments about the Civil Rights Act, that somebody would take so personal. And the point would say that because he said that about the Civil Rights Act, that he was attacking some sort of sacred cow. And I believe that the conversation about that needs to be understood. You are asking the government to tell private business how they should behave. Now, if I could, I want to go back to that in this sense. And we'll take phone calls in the next hour. Because, of course, we're not doing headlines this week because I almost feel like that's disrespectful to the memory of Charlie Kirk and this story and the importance of it. So we'll get to your phone calls in the next hour. But I want to say this. This is important to all of this in this conversation I was saying about the Civil Rights Act. So a famous radio personality out of Cleveland, Ohio, named Lynn Tolliver, who passed away a couple of years ago. He and I were on a podcast on the West Coast. He's still, him in Ohio and me in Virginia. And he and I would often battle on the air. Ideologically, we had no animus towards each other. He didn't really like me in the beginning because he couldn't believe that a black man had the views that I did. And Lynn Tolliver was a black R&B, radio DJ in Cleveland for a lot of years. Very famous guy. And he and I were in a debate one day, and he was talking about that famous Supreme Court case where the pizzeria guy didn't want to make a pizza for the gay couple, the lesbian couple, and it ended up in the Supreme Court because he was talking about his Christian faith. But anyway, Lynn was asking me about it, and Lynn said, Reese, I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense. Like when you go into a business and somebody asks you to do something, you can't discriminate against them and not make the pie for them or whatever it was that they were asking for. That's wrong. And so I was waiting. It's funny because, you could be on the show and be on the bus. And I was on the phone and I was waiting for the bus. And I said to Lynn, Lynn, I totally get what you're talking about. So I would like to make this personal to you. And he was like, okay, how? I said, Lynn, you own a bakery in Cleveland. And David Duke arrives and walks into your door. Cling, cling. Hello, Lynn Tolliver. How you doing? Yeah, I need you to make me a cake celebrating the 150th anniversary of my Klan chapter. Lynn, are you making the cake? And Lynn said, hell no. And I said, I'll see you in the Supreme Court, sir. I will see you in the Supreme Court, and I would expect you and all of your accolades to think that the Supreme Court is going to make you make that Klan cake. Your principals were immediately kicked in and said, nope, no way. If my neighbors and my friends and my community found out that I made a commemorative cake for the Klan, are you kidding me? I'd be out of business. Well, sir, that's not your religious liberty. There's nothing religious that prevents you from making a cake for the Klan. You have to do it. Don't you? If we're setting the same standards, if his religious freedom means nothing, then your racial position means nothing. Unless you are saying that religious liberty has less rights than your moral. And he thought about that and said, okay, that makes sense to me. That does. As a black man, I could not. And that's all the point I was trying to make to him and plenty of others. Is that if it's equal under the law, it must always be equal under the law. Always. Not part of the time. Not here, not there. Always. And this idea that Charlie Kirk, again, Charlie Kirk having his opinions about this, that, and the third. As I said yesterday, so what? What you're not admitting, and I know it's what you're not admitting, is that he had influence and he was changing hearts and minds, and they were agreeing with him and no longer with you. And I don't know if that's jealousy. I don't know if that's hatred, but I definitely know it's a little bit of both. And the point is, when I asked yesterday, what did he deserve? The answer should have been to be challenged. That's all he ever deserved, to be challenged. We'll come back. We'll take your phone calls. Some controversial ones from what I hear. Let's get to the newsroom. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
3 o'clock, Hartford temperature 76 degrees. We'll have sunny skies today. Maybe some clouds drifting through, but overall a nice way to wrap up the week with temperatures in the 70s. All the forecast details coming up. Utah Governor Spencer Cox made the announcement at a news conference this morning.
We got him.
Suspect accused in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He's 22-year-old Utah resident Tyler Robinson, charged with aggravated murder, in jail and will be arraigned next week. Correspondent Carter Evans reports authorities are still looking for answers.
His political leanings were certainly part of this, but what was it exactly that drove him to go find that gun, get in the car, drive 250 miles north, and actually follow through with this crime?
CBS's Anna Schechter.
That communication with the roommate is all going to be going into those charging documents, and essentially prosecutors are going to be going to a jury and telling the timeline, telling the story of what happened in the hours leading up to this assassination.
Former Connecticut State Police Lieutenant Paul Vance says it's a teaching moment for parents whose young adult children may be attending large events, controversial or not.
We need to have family members in our own state, in our own country, communicate with their young adult children, if you will, who are attending colleges and universities and events all across the country, to be aware.
That includes an awareness of exits or alternatives, including the ability to stream an event or watch it in a smaller community room environment. New Haven police have made an arrest in a sexual assault on a female jogger that occurred in a city park last month. Under arrest is 34-year-old Ludwig Carius Interiano, whom Police Chief Carl Jacobson says is in the country illegally.
So we were actually alerted this morning that immigration officials have gotten a criminal detainer on him as well. So if he were to make bond, he could not get out because he has a criminal detainer from immigration officials.
The victim was attacked while jogging through Fort Hale Park on August 9th. Carius Interiano is charged with sexual assault and unlawful restraint, on set at $750,000. Facing his first serious primary challenge since he was elected nearly 30 years ago, incumbent John Larson launched his latest campaign for Congress at East Hartford's Union Hall. He says President Trump is trying to privatize Social Security and exploit Americans' personal data. Democrats need to unite against him.
You sent me here to expose them. You sent me there to stop them. We've done it before, and with your help, we're going to do it again as well. Just look at our record. Look at our record versus Trump's.
Supporting the 77-year-old at his launch event was another veteran Democratic Congressman, Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. Larson's challengers include former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin and State Representative Jillian Gilchrist, who says it's time for new representation for the 1st District in Washington. President Trump has announced plans to send the National Guard to Memphis to address crime concerns. He says he has support from the city's mayor and Governor Bill Lee, who confirmed that he was working with the Trump administration to finalize details. The move on the heels of Trump's deployments of the Guard to L.A. and D.C. An ICE agent has shot and killed a suspect who attempted to resist arrest.
It happened in Franklin Park, northwest of Chicago, during what ICE officials called a targeted law enforcement activity. They say when they stopped a vehicle, the driver attempted to ram into the agents. One officer was struck and dragged before he fired at the suspect. The officer suffered severe injuries. The man who was killed is identified as Silverio Villegas Gonzalez. Officials with the Department of Homeland Security say he had a criminal history of reckless driving. They also say he entered the U.S. at an unknown date and time. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
WTIC News time is 3:05. We've got busier traffic right now. Delays reported mostly down in Fairfield County for the most part, confined to the areas of northbound 95 as you head out of Stamford and make your way up towards Bridgeport. Back up this way, no real issues to report. Some late running work in Manchester at 384 West between exits 3 and 1B. They should be wrapping up that right and center lane work at any moment now. 91 northbound in Hartford, 29A to the Route 598 West ramp. That's left lane. That'll be closed until about 3. There is a crash down in Bridgeport, Route 8 northbound side between exits 1 and 2A, just before you hit the 95 interchange there. We've got the right and center lanes out due to a 2-vehicle crash. Here's the WTIC Weather Center for
the rest of this afternoon. Sunshine mixing with...
Shout out there, Ali, Mary, and, of course, John Beckman.
Turning out partly cloudy and comfortable tonight, low 54. A weak upper-level disturbance crossing the region tomorrow will provide times of clouds and sun. There may be a shower in spots late in the afternoon, but much of the time will be dry, high temperature reaching 78. Turning out cloudy for tomorrow night with a low of 59. On Sunday, a cool front moves into the region, especially later in the day. Look for mostly cloudy skies. There can be a passing shower in the afternoon, a high temperature reaching 82. On Monday, the front moves off to the south and east. Look for periods of clouds and sun. There could be a stray shower around early on, a high temperature of 80 degrees. As we head into Tuesday, high pressure builds into New England, providing partly sunny skies and a high of 80. On Wednesday, high pressure still in control, sunshine, high 81. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dow's down 166 points, NASDAQ's up 138, and the S&P is ahead 11 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If you missed Odyssey's I'm Listening live, you can listen to it anytime at Odyssey.com. Just search I'm Listening under podcasts. This 1-hour broadcast event features some of the biggest names in music and sports and insight from some of the most respected mental health professionals. Spreading awareness about mental health and the message that talk saves lives, you can also hear the 1-hour WTIC's Mental Wellness at WTIC.com. Coverage of Odyssey's I'm Listening is sponsored locally by the Connecticut Prevention Network.
Did you edit out all the cursing?
Many men today, even
It was only the one curse.
but
Oh, it's
finding
only
someone
from
you can
Swalwell
trust for quality, low-T
Swalwell in
treatment
the beginning?
isn't so easy.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
For
thank you.
Northeast Men's Health, a Prometic restorative health practice. And that's why I'm pleased to announce the opening of our newest location of Northeast Men's Health right here in Warwick.
Listened to it like 4 times. I was like, I don't hear nothing else.
Has the experience and expertise.
No,
to
I'm
get
happy.
you
I didn't
the
get
right
to hear the
treatment
whole
for your
thing. That's why I was
particular
like, just make
medical
sure.
situation.
'Cause
And
I couldn't
we're
edit it
experts in
here with the
treating low
audio running,
testosterone.
so
in fact,
it would come
we've
out horrible.
successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing impacts low T treatments have. If you're like most men, you'll sleep better, have more energy and improved mental clarity, get better gains in the gym, and your sex drive will likely improve as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Wesley Financial, a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090.
He knew what he was doing when he did that part.
800-714-9090.
You'll pay nothing. He knew what he was doing.
800-714-9090.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
You know, it's the thing that I want people to recognize about all of this, and it's the tough part that many on the left are having. And I've got some great audio and video to back up what I'm talking about. And in the next hour or so, we'll get into that, about what this means politically. Because it is. Everything, I'm sorry, folks, it just is. Everything is political. And it's not, I don't want to say it's anybody's fault, but, you know, when you make that your identity, you have to live with that and understand it. So we'll make some points about that as well, and we'll get to your phone calls in just a second. But I wanted to play this, and thank you, Roland, again, for fixing this audio, because it had some, had a curse word in it, and I didn't want to play it on the air and make sure it was, but Roland actually fixed it for me so you can hear it. Remember, the question at the beginning of the show, where did he get his beliefs from? And what we know, he wrote on the bullets. He wrote them. Catch this, fascist. He wrote it. Those are the things that he wrote. He believed that Charlie Kirk spread hate. And the question must be, where did he get that idea from? He wasn't sitting somewhere isolated. It's obvious, right? We all know it. So I'd like to play you a couple of examples.
Ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. This is what kicking the out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism, is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
We are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
The former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley, said, "No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core."
Where did he get him from? Where? Come on. That last one was the Tim Walz. It's an actual sitting governor, former vice presidential candidate, echoing the first person in the audio, his running mate, running for president of the United States, Kamala Harris. And let's go one step further. David Axelrod. I always believe that we should pay very close attention to what they say. We must always pay attention to what they say and the standards that they set, because that's what they keep telling for the rest of us, that they are the standard bearers. And anyone outside of that, as you heard, is a fascist.
Like we're in a war right now to save this country, and so you have to be willing to do whatever is necessary in order to save the country.
Wars have specific meanings. When you say we're in a war after someone has been shot, it's really an invitation to other people to commit acts of violence.
Thank you, David Axelrod. I appreciate it. Can you please call your buddy Chris Murphy? Because, I remember quite well that you guys were all on the same page. I was the first person to bring that up on this program, right? Now everybody else is following suit. It took the murder of Charlie Kirk, and now people are going, hey, Chris Murphy, this you? It is. And I had been warning you. Was it me? The president of Chris Murphy's fan club? Wasn't it me who kept saying, listen to the words that he's saying? Listen to him, how he's telling people to radicalize, how he's telling people to break norms, right? Telling people that it's a fight for our life, saying that we have to take more risks. Well, who was listening to him? Who was on the world tour, spreading that idea? He damn sure wasn't in Connecticut. And if this guy is on the right side of history, as we're led to believe, with all of the newspaper articles and media attention they've given to this guy, he is one of the most outspoken people who are against Donald Trump. We are at war, he said. Let's go to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Courtney Ann is back. How are you?
Doing so good. How are you?
Okay. Well, nice to hear. What is your point of view today?
Okay. So, two of them. One, just real quick, the what you said about to Lynn Tolliver, that is not even the same. Having someone come in and tell you, hey, this cake is for the Klansmen, as a black person, I'm not going to make the cake. But if he would have just came in and just said, I need a cake, and I didn't know what it was for, I would have made the cake.
But what if the cake, hold on, sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you up. I hit the wrong button.
You always
No, hold on, stay for a second. Oh, no, don't go anywhere. Stay for a second. Now, hold on. You said it's not the same thing? How do you know it's not the same thing? I gave no details. The person who comes in, if a lesbian couple walks in and tells the baker, I would like you to bake a cake for our wedding, because, again, you want a particular theme around said cake. You want the cake to represent the thing that it is celebrating. Hold on. No. I said I gave both. Courtney, I gave both examples. You obviously weren't listening. I gave both examples. When the lesbian couple comes in and I says, I want you to make us a wedding cake for our union, and the Christian or the Catholic says that goes against my core beliefs and I cannot, and then you force him to go to the Supreme Court to in essence, fight for his constitutional protected freedom, and that is religious freedom, right? To tell him, no, his religious freedom means nothing. I asked Lynn Tolliver the question. If you were an owner of a bakery and the Klan walked in and said they wanted a cake to commemorate their 150th anniversary for the Knights of whatever, would Lynn Tolliver be within his be within his rights to tell them no?
When I said it's not the same, I'm talking about it's not. Both of those examples are not the same as someone's civil rights, because I have the right also to do what I want to do and stand up for what I believe.
That's my point. So you were in agreement with me. You're in agreement with me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So no. now, yeah, I guess I do agree with you then.
Thank
so
you.
then to this to Charlie, I cannot, like, everybody really thinks that this is over his beliefs? Like,
Wait. Hold on. Courtney, what do you mean, do we really think that these are over his beliefs? Did you miss what he wrote on the bullets?
No, I didn't. But I didn't miss anything. What I'm saying is this man has been doing this controversial since he was 18 years old.
Okay.
He's now RIP to him. He's now passed away at 31 years old.
Okay.
That's a lot. That's many years of doing this, right?
Okay.
All of a sudden now someone's gonna shoot and kill him. No, it's funny though. I personally
Courtney,
think
that must hold on. So you're saying, Courtney, the person who shot him, wait. The person who shot him, if you listen to any of this, stop. I knew this was going to happen. And again, I knew why it was going to happen. Because again, it plays right into it can't be just the obvious because nothing is the obvious. I get that, but listen to me. The evidence in all of this is means and opportunity. Recent years, according to his family members, he has become more political. All right? He became very involved in politics. His friends, and they have documented back and forth of exchanges talking about Charlie Kirk and talking about his hatred of Charlie Kirk and Charlie Kirk spreading hate speak and all of that. Until we get there, okay? You cannot believe this. First of all, this shooter is 22 years old. Charlie Kirk has been doing this a little more than 12, 13 years, okay? At that time, this particular individual, when Charlie Kirk started, this kid would have been an adolescent, right? And he would have had no access to him. But as he got older and got more into social media, Charlie Kirk became a very fabric of a lot of young people's lives. So it's means and opportunity.
Then you will see what I'm trying to say. But
No. I'm cutting you off. Here's why I'm cutting you off, Courtney. Because again, hold on. There's a reason why I'm cutting you off. Listen, because at this particular point, it is innuendo and theory. Now, I would put it to you this way. Come back at me. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
2 words out. Can I get 2 words out?
Courtney, when I'm done, you can get the words out. You can get the words out. This is the important part about this, okay? The denialism in what I'm trying to express to you is this, okay? When you started off by saying Charlie Kirk has been doing this forever and now somebody wants to shoot him, Donald Trump has been doing this since 2016. Nobody decided to take a shot at him until 2024. It's the same ridiculous mean. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, why wouldn't they have done this when he said that, when everybody alleged that he was calling Mexicans rapists?
I mean, first off, now you're getting into a whole nother ballgame. We're talking that one's a president, one's a guy. That's not a president. But let me say why I said this. All the information that you think that, well, not you think you have, that you're stating, right? None of it's fact yet. It's just circumstantial. Oh, this guy didn't like him, and we have emails that said he didn't like him. None of that proves anything, just as much as what I'm about to say, which is I fully believe that this was a hit because he was the one behind trying to get the Epstein files released. And it just so happens on the day, wait, nobody's talking about it though. On the day that he died, Wednesday.
Oh, I didn't press that. Hold on. Look. This is...
Dang, Reese, I can't say nothing.
No. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. That happened by accident. But Courtney, listen. With all due respect, I'm going to give you... Courtney, listen to me. Listen to me. I've got... Listen, with all due respect, there's a reason why. Okay? Because you're changing the tone and... Courtney, you're changing the tone and tenor of the show. I need to go in another direction. Because I'm not going to go into the Epstein files about this. The man was murdered. And it ain't about Epstein. It ain't. It's not.
Talking about how they voted that day. They voted that day. The whatever the courts that vote that day voted to not release them.
I don't know.
And nobody's talking about that.
Courtney, we'll talk. You know what? When it matters, Courtney, when it matters, we'll have that conversation, and you can show me up there after. Thank you. It's utterly ridiculous. With all due respect, that is utterly ridiculous. Okay. I gotta go to Simsbury. How you doing, buddy?
After that, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of shell-shocked. And
I know. I cannot listen to me. I was saying this before the show. You heard me in my opening monologue. Before I even started my opening monologue, the first thing I said was, there are people out there who are making this about other things for the sake of saying, see, and what I meant by that. And I didn't want to bring it up until later. I was going to make it until like 5 o'clock to bring it up. The point is that those people need to make it about something else, because conspiracy theory, because even though we know that we're learning more and more about things that we were told were conspiracy theory are turning out to be true, now people are making it marketplace. And they're going to, like sometimes those things have a tendency to go beyond the scope. And like, that's why I'm like, stop. It's like, this is not one of those moments where we immediately say, well, there was something deeper going on. Oh, I think that the bulletproof vest tweaked the trajectory of the bullet. I'm like, oh, we're done. We're just done.
Well, when he jumped off the roof, all the conspiracy theories should have gone out the window. I understand the initial ones for sure.
Yeah.
But that's just, boy, Courtney, I hope you get the help that you really need. So I wanted to talk about, there's an article in the Federalist. I don't have his name right here. And what he's talking about, to me, makes incredible, scary sense. And that is that it is time to dismantle the far left machine that is being built on political violence. And that even, Charlie Kirk said within the last year, they're creating an assassination culture.
Yes.
And things like, we've been talking about this shooting, Mangione, people wearing T-shirts celebrating him, all the stuff, I'm not perfect, but I can tell you that even as a flawed person, I am never going public. If there's a lefty that I don't like Ilhan Omar, who should be kicked out of Congress,
absolutely,
someone takes her out the same way Charlie Kirk was, I am not going public under my name saying great shot or thank goodness, she's gone. I might say it amongst friends, but for me to say it under my own name, we're seeing this all over the internet. These are seriously mentally ill people.
Indeed.
And I said it before, this is not the last one we're going to see. And it is being perpetrated. Kamala Harris the other day calling Trump a fascist. And all the other things that these so-called leaders are doing. The only one, this guy was a Democrat socialist, apparently. He's wearing a T-shirt for that. At least Bernie Sanders, when it happened, said the right things.
Yeah.
But there are other people that did not. The Democrats who booed and hooted when they wanted a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, they didn't have the ability to understand this is, like you said, it's like a JFK type thing.
Yeah.
We're not dealing, we have to make a decision. We really do have to make a decision here. And it might be something that the Constitution may not like. And that
Understood.
is, we want free speech, but we are not going to tolerate these people that think that, like the governor said this morning, that speech is violence.
Right. Violence is
not.
violence.
You're sick. We're taking care of you. Take that for what it's worth. But this whole article, when you see 48% of people on the left think that it's somewhat okay to kill Elon Musk, 55% think it's somewhat okay for Donald Trump. And we're sitting there. We didn't have any riots.
That's right.
We had vigils. We called talk radio. These people should not be treated the same way that we would treat each other, unless they act in a way that makes them deserving of being treated the way we treat each other. And we need to make some tough decisions as a country to start putting some of their leaders in jail. They're funding people in jail.
That's right.
For a long time. And I don't mean if a judge says, well, I'm letting them out tomorrow. Guess what, Judge? You're going to jail too. Because the country matters.
Yeah, I don't think, like I said, I don't think that we could sustain anything, a normalization of this and this sort of writing off of this behavior. But, Joe, I got to address this thing real quick with the Courtney thing. But I appreciate you, boss man. Thank you, man. Let me address this real quick. First, let me deal with Zap in the chat room saying, let her talk. No. And I stand by it. And if I become difficult to listen to, goodbye. Now, let me explain to you why. And again, I don't falter. That conversation about making this about anything and everything else and just pulling stuff out of the ether, that's not the tone of this show. And with all due respect, I know it may sound a little bit rude, but let me get you out of your little space, wherever you are, even Courtney for that matter. The banner, the marquee, says Reese on the radio. With all due respect, respect it. I understand that you believe there's like, let's just have a conversation. No, I was having one. The conversation is about the murderer. What led to it? Jeffrey Epstein? Are we really going backwards now? Charlie Kirk was critical of that. And trying to make this about something else and then saying, let's give that theory a try. With all due respect, this isn't, research and development. This is an actual show. A show in which that I direct. No one asks me how to direct it. No one sits down and says, Reese, talk about this, that, and the third. I set the tone. It's just the way it is. And if you don't like me because of it, peace. Sorry, don't mean to be rude. Again, but let's not be rude to the host, the person on the marquee. It's not fair to me and it's not fair to the audience for it to go into these other conspiratorial realms. That's the reason why we have Whack Job Wednesdays. Today's Friday. If we could, just do what I'm doing now. All right? And if that's not where you want to go, please go to the Outer Limits, Twilight Zone, whatever it is that's playing on TV land. Holla. We'll be back. More news, more views than we can shake a stick at. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Taxes don't pay a nickel more than you're supposed to, especially getting close to retirement or in retirement. Call or text the word taxes to request your free copy of our Tax Explorer Guide, 1-800-705-1232. Call or text the word taxes, 1-800-705-1232. Don't pay an extra nickel in taxes.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
And now, a WTIC news update.
3:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk had expressed opposition to the conservative activist's viewpoints and indicated that he was responsible for the shooting. That's what authorities said today as they announced the arrest in the killing. 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, the suspect. Governor Spencer Cox at a news conference said Robinson had become more political in the run-up to Wednesday's shooting. Arrest made in connection with a sexual assault last month in a New Haven park. Police say 34-year-old Ludwig Carius Interiano attacked the victim August 9th while she jogged in Fort Hale Park. He is now charged with sexual assault and unlawful restraint. 2 people in the hospital this afternoon following a crash involving a lawnmower and the Town Department of Works lawnmower and a car in Enfield. Crash occurred this afternoon in the area of North Main and Enfield streets. Those involved were treated for serious injuries, say police. Longtime Democratic Congressman John Larson has announced his re-election plans. He did so this morning in his hometown of East Hartford. The 77-year-old facing the first serious primary challenge since he was elected nearly 30 years ago. Cheshire's animal control officer has stepped down, this in light of an investigation into the conditions at the animal control facility in town. That announcement made at a Thursday night meeting. President Trump says he'll be sending the National Guard to Memphis to address crime concerns there with the support of the mayor and the governor. President on Fox News saying the mayor's happy, the governor's happy about the pending deployment. WTIC news time approaching 3:32. Here's the forecast.
Rest of this afternoon, sunshine mixing with a few clouds. It will be pleasant. High temperature not far from 77. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 54. Tomorrow, a weak disturbance aloft moves across the area with clouds and sun, perhaps a shower in spots in the afternoon, high 78. Turning out cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 59. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. There can be a passing shower in the afternoon, high temperature 82. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
And for these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, September 27th at Bushnell Park in Hartford. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/CT Capital Area. And then we'll see you in Bushnell Park September 27th. WTIC News Talk 1080 is proud partner of the American Federation for Suicide Prevention Out of the Darkness Walk.
A winning team has great players and coaches with different strengths and expertise, but all with a common goal: to win. A full-service law firm is no different. At BPS Lawyers, we have top legal minds in every specialty: personal injury, business law, family law, criminal defense, and more. Visit any of our 6 offices across Connecticut. When it comes to the law, you don't just need a lawyer. You need a full-service law firm. BPS Lawyers, your lawyers for life. Visit bpslawyers.com. Proud full-service law partner of UConn Athletics. Nick Payne-Dearest is responsible for this ad.
Hi, this is Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner from Money Wisdom. Tune in every week for insights on taxes, investments, income planning, Social Security, and so much more. Tune in to Money Wisdom Saturdays at 8:30 on WTIC News Talk 1080.
People who suffer from long-term chronic joint pain spend so much of their time acting, putting up a carefree front. It's exhausting.
I was really tired of trying to act like I wasn't in pain because I was in pain all the time.
Rick Rawlings didn't want everyone else to know that he was coping with agonizing shoulder pain 24/7.
Yes, I had to put on a face to cover up my pain.
But then Rick found QC Kinetics, offering new lasting treatments for joint pain using natural biologics. Treatments designed to restore and repair joint tissue with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. The results were amazing.
I am very glad. It changed my life doing the QC Kinetics. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. The cranky Rick is gone. He's not grouchy anymore.
No more acting. Feel like yourself again with a call to QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN. 860-440-PAIN.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
It's Sarah Samuels, co-host of the Retirement Income Source, heard Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. and again at 12:30 p.m. In retirement, it's all about the income, and that's real income, generated from interest and dividends. If your advisor is selling your portfolio shares and writing you a check, that's not income. To learn how to generate retirement income the right way, tune in to the Retirement Income Source, Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m.
Retirement Income Source with David Scranton is a paid program.
I'm elder law attorney Haley Allaire. Our greatest reward is happy clients telling us that they're very thankful for our help.
Hi, I'm Carolyn from Coventry. Recently, my 82-year-old mother had a few falls and ended up in rehab. What we thought would be temporary care became permanent following an unexpected and fast decline. When we applied for Medicaid, it was overwhelming. I didn't know where to start. I contacted attorneys, but none seemed to really know this complex process. I will be eternally grateful to a family friend who recommended Attorney Allaire and the Allaire Elder Law team. From our first meeting, they patiently answered our questions, made sure to understand Mom's situation, then guided us, providing clarity, kindness, and compassion. When we were finally granted Medicaid to cover my mom's care, I felt a huge weight off my shoulders. We had been paying for her care, and were really starting to feel the pressure. I don't know how much longer we could have done that if the Allaire Elder Law team hadn't worked their magic. We would not have gotten to this point without them.
Compassionate counsel and proven results. AllaireElderLaw.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan featured. Drug products, which the FDA does not approve or
Thank
verify
you.
for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS/JOY.
Whoa, hold up. Let's not put all 100 candles on the cake. Slow your roll. That's a fire hazard. And there's expensive radio equipment in here. And I'm not quite sure what I'm wearing is fireproof.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. Roseanne will be on the show in a little bit, but she's already sitting in the chair. I'll put a mic up in a second, but I do want to get into a couple of more phone calls in your phone calls and talk a bit about the stuff that I have planned for the show in talking about this. I don't want to, again, this is one of those things where in my own mind, I don't want to think that you would be thinking of this, but in my own mind, I have a particular tone, not only that I set, but there is something that is in me that just says, all right, you know what, Reese, move on. You're bored. And I'm like, yeah, I'm bored. I'm moving on. And when I am, I will. And by Monday, we're going to be back to the regular show. But this is a very important event in our lives. And I understand that. And when I say that I can feel that temperature, it doesn't mean I'm special. I just have a sense of that. And I'm not going to muck it up with this Jeffrey Epstein stuff that everybody else is, talking about it all the time. We don't know. Courtney is in the chat room and she's saying, all I'm saying is that it's a theory because we don't know. And Roseanne brought up a very important point. And I want you to think about this. This is important. If these are all theories as it pertains to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and we should consider them, well, where the hell was all of that consideration with George Floyd? Where was all that consideration with Michael Brown? Where was the consideration with Breonna Taylor? Was that the case with Trayvon Martin or Tamir Rice, Eric Garner? Where was it? Where was all of the conspiracy theories? No one gave any of those cases grace. They went right to it's racist. No one could even think of bringing up, dare you even say, but wait a minute. The autopsy says that Michael Brown was shot at the top of the head. Why would his head be down? Especially if he was standing straight up with his hands up saying, don't shoot. No one was even allowed to ask the question. Trayvon Martin, as it pertained to George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman was racist. Why? Because his last name was Zimmerman. Not the fact that he was half Hispanic. We couldn't consider the fact that that young man was running around putting out petitions at black churches to get them involved in a homeless black man who was punched and knocked out cold by a police lieutenant or sergeant's son, a white kid. That he was trying to get black folks involved in the civil rights of that homeless black man who was punched into some unconsciousness. No one was even allowed to consider it. It was racist. That was it. Where was all the conspiracy theory that was allowed then? It wasn't. So please, with all due respect, I hope you can understand that I'm not going to tolerate it this time. You didn't. Why should I? I told you before, and if you missed the themes of this program, let me help you again. One of the themes of this program is I believe in setting the standard you place. If you say conspiracy theories are not allowed when it pertains to you, they don't apply anywhere. And I won't tolerate them. You set the standard. Now, you know how the old saying goes on this show as well. When it comes to changing the way in which we do things, you first. Because you set the standard. You first. Until then, we're going to do as you tell us. We're going to follow the way in which we all should live our lives. And right now, you are sitting square into the ideal that this young man, Tyler Robinson, executed a man for his beliefs. He wrote it on the bullets. He wrote it on the bullets. Witnesses suggest that he hated Charlie Kirk. And only question I ask is, where did he get it from? You want to talk about conspiracy? Let me give you conspiracy. It was in the statements by the public officials who made it known. And they wanted everybody to know Donald Trump and his brood are fascists.
Ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the out of fascism looks like.
What does it look like? What does it look like? Now, as I said before, politically, because it's always down to politics. And again, I always say, you set the tone. I don't. What is all of this about? Why is Donald Trump and his brood being called fascist? Why? Because you need to be in power. And that if we don't fight back against fascism, you guys will not correct everything. We have to get rid of the fascism in this country. You have to get rid of the racism in this country. Why? So we can be a more perfect union. Right? Because if we don't, we are stopping totalitarians. We are stopping racists. That's what we're doing. Right? But I told you, and you didn't want to listen. You told me that I was just taking up for Donald Trump. You told me that I was not objective. That's fine. I can deal with that. But now, I'd like to ask you a simple question. What do you say to this kid?
As a registered Democrat, all I have to say is the Charlie Kirk shooting just proves that we are the worst, man. My party is the worst. I got people celebrating, hoping that he dies. Are we for real right now? Where's the empathy? Where's the respect, man? It's disgusting. It's disgusting, truly. And the fact of the matter is this: he was a father, and whether or not I agree with his political opinions, all he truly wanted to do at the core was see this country be the best. And I can respect that. And to see people just be blatantly disgusting. Man, we're the worst, man. We're horrible.
How about this man?
I was an old school Democrat. I will never vote a fucking Democrat ever. I was a Purple Party independent. You lost me. I'm all red now. When you celebrate and rejoice in the murder and assassination of someone who just was giving a different point of view than what you're used to in the fucking colleges these days, you are and will always be part of the problem if you're rejoicing in that. He was a family man. He just came and was respectful to everybody and was assassinated for it. It's fucking pathetic. And so has what the Democratic Party has become.
Let's try it again. How about this one?
The left has done a really great job of pushing us all over to the right the past year. And I'm so sad because what Charlie Kirk brought to the table was conversation and debate. And that's why I liked him. I didn't always agree with him, but damn, we need more conversation and we need more debate. And all I can hope is that all of these kids that showed up on these college campuses to debate him or to agree with him or whatever, I hope we end up with thousands more of Charlie Kirk out there debating.
The reason why I play that is the obvious. Folks, we don't have to do a thing. All of that anger, screaming and hollering what we need to do, how we need to respond, we don't. Every one of those people were left. If they were left of anything, they were left of center. That one man said, I'm all the way red. All of these things have consequences. That's what this is. They have consequences. You look at this kid. Remember, you cannot, in no way, you can never expect people who laugh and mock and scream and holler at Charlie Kirk to be considered people that you want to align yourself with. Are you going to align yourself with this?
I hate you. Would you like to have a substantive conversation or? A substantive? No, man. Would you like to have a conversation?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like you. I think you spread hate. I think you spread bigotry. I think you piss a lot of people off because you're just an awful person. I don't think you really want to debate because you're just here to piss people off and energize your crowd of racists.
What have I ever said that's racist?
Oh, what?
Can you name one thing?
I'm Hispanic. Can I support Charlie?
Can you name
Does that mean anything? I think you're just trying to play a game, and I think this is obviously going to be used.
What have I ever said that's
hateful? I just
hateful?
want to hate you. You're awful. Get off my campus.
When have I ever said anything that's hateful? Have a nice day.
And as I said before, he was so hated. He was so hated. And he was considered a fascist for it. I hope I have time to do this. Allow me some leverage, Roland, on this real quick, because I forgot how long it is. So just give me a little bit of leverage to this. Folks, I want you to hear what a young lady did online. Roseanne and I heard it earlier. But she asked AI, what would Charlie Kirk say in a moment like this? And if you haven't heard it, please stay still. Take a second.
First, I want you to know I'm fine, not because my body is fine, but because my soul is secure in Christ. Death is not the end. It's a promotion. Don't waste 1 second mourning me. I knew the risks of standing up in this cultural moment, and I'd do it all over again. Second, do not let this violence divide us further. The enemy wants chaos, fear, and retaliation. Don't give it to them. Instead, double down on truth. Double down on courage. Double down on your faith and on your families. That is how you honor me. Third, remember this. America is worth it. Free speech is worth it. Fighting for the unborn, for families, for sanity in a culture gone mad. It is all worth it. So dry your tears, pick up your cross, and get back in the fight. Do it with joy. Do it with strength. And never, ever let evil think it won.
We'll be back. It's Reese On The Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hello, it's Lena Dunham. I host a podcast called The C Word with my dearest friend and historian of bad behavior, Alyssa Bennett.
What is up?
It's a chat show about women whose society is called crazy.
We're going to be rediscovering the stories of women society dismissed by calling them mad, sad, or just plain bad.
Listen to and follow The C Word with Lena Dunham and Alyssa Bennett. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Men, the summer is here. Longer days, warmer nights, and romance is in the air. Intimate dinners, walks on the beach, dancing in the moonlight. But if you have erectile dysfunction, you know it can ruin romance, both for you and the one you love. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you have ED, don't let another summer go by without getting treated, because intimacy is one of the greatest things in life. And fear of not being able to perform should not be something you have to deal with. At Northeast Men's Health, we're ED experts. We've successfully treated tens of thousands of men. Our protocols work when others don't, and we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. You could even last up to an hour or more and perform like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's Hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day, and nothing worked until Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food. Crazy. Enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick Hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick Seminar's Early Bird Special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right. Seminars Thursday, September 18th, Hilton Garden Inn, Hartford North, Bradley International Airport in Windsor. Weight loss seminar 5:30. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Or Saturday, September 20th, Holiday Inn Express, Southington. Weight loss seminar 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar 2 p.m. Register markpatrickseminars.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a e-trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. We're going to have Roseanne here in a little bit. You know what? Maybe I should. Would you stick around, Roseanne, if I did an interview with Pastor Jacob Dell? And see if we could get him on the air. I know he sent me a message earlier, but I was structuring the show today. And I think words like anything from him would be important. I know he's got a sermon coming up this weekend talking about the passing of Charlie Kirk, while many of our leadership in Connecticut are not really focusing on it. But, again, I said this after his passing, that I never expect people to do things that they don't do. I know who they are. And maybe I don't want to criticize anyone who is hopeful of certain behaviors, right? It's like, I would hope under this circumstance that person would see this through or see this a particular way. I accept people for who they are. Can I make an Avengers a reference, if I may? It was Samuel L. Jackson's character, Nick Fury, talking to Captain America. It was during, I want to say it was The Winter Soldier, the beginning of the film. And when Nick Fury talks about S.H.I.E.L.D., and he says, S.H.I.E.L.D. accepts the world as it is, and then we respond to it. But I always love that line because what I learned as an alcoholic, what I learned in AA, was acceptance is the answer. It is always the answer. And I accept people for who they are. One of my biggest problems in life is asking for everyone to do the thing that I've refused. Change. That it always begins with me. Asking everybody else to do something is a fool's errand. If you want change, it must begin with you. So I accept people for who they are. And I used to think that if I got better, everybody else would just naturally do it because in some ways I thought that I was the cause. Boy, they would act better if only I did. And then I started acting better and no one else did. And I went, what the hell's going on? I got better. What's wrong with you? And it has nothing to do with anything. I have to accept that they're not going to change. That's how I live a better path. And when you realize that people aren't going to change and that things aren't going to change, you move on from them. You move on from them, and then you go into greener pastures. You're around people who have the same ideals, who care about the things that you care about. Not that you need to live in an echo chamber, but you get away from the things that cause you grief, cause you anger, that take you out of pocket. In order for you to be righteous, you only need be righteous. It's not something you need to prove. It's not something you need to proclaim. It's not something, it's like, I've got black friends, as if an answer to you're not racist. No, just be. If you're not racist, if you're not a bigot, if you're not a hater, if you're not an angry person, just be those things. Having to proclaim them means you're trying to convince others of something that may be apparent. Just be. I don't have to tell a soul. I told you a long time ago when I got here, whatever you think of me is none of my business. At the end of the day, it's what I think of myself. Grandiose as that may be. It could be, I could think I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. No, I don't.
What kind of bread?
Obviously pumpernickel. It's my favorite. Yeah, my wife's in the background going, pumpernickel. I don't know why, but I just love pumpernickel. I don't know. I'm a big fan of pumpernickel. Yeah, how did you know that? Did you know that I was my favorite?
Yeah,
I've talked
believe it
about
or
that.
not, we've been married for a couple of years, and you've told me a couple of things about you.
All right. I
just laying next to you every night.
I don't think that came up in conversation.
It has. Lone Star, the steak
That's right.
place.
Yeah, the steak place.
Yeah.
Let's get to weather and traffic. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Pumpernickel, you a fan, Mark?
No.
Oh.
No. You and I will not be fighting over the last piece of pumpernickel, that's for sure. Just give me a good old English muffin or a Kaiser roll.
Oh, yeah, Kaiser. Okay, Kaiser roll, you can't go wrong there. I agree with that.
I'm sure they look down at me when I go to Katz Deli in New York City and I want it on a roll. They probably look at me like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
But, I could go for a little Katz Deli right now, to
No
be honest
doubt.
with you. Southbound 91 coming into Hartford. This traffic report, by the way, being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. Got delays 34 down to 32 AMB and again down by exit 28 Hartford Weathersfield line. Slowing again 19 down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91 slowing a little bit between 20 and 21 Middletown into Cromwell. After that, good ride. Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound side of 84 slowing just after 56 out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound delays 44 Prospect Oakwood into the tunnel. 291 384 OK2 westbound. A little slow as you merge with 84 west. 9 north and southbound slowing at the Aragoni Bridge. If you're traveling northbound on the Parkway in Meriden, look out for an accident between 64B and 65 in the construction. Right lane is blocked there, so stay to the left. And if you are traveling right now into Waterbury, 84 eastbound delays approaching 18 to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 slows from exit 23 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound is a little tight as you move down by the 691 interchange in Cheshire. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Rest of this afternoon, sunshine mixing with a few clouds. It will be pleasant. High temperature not far from 77. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 54. Tomorrow, a weak disturbance aloft moves across the area with clouds and sun, perhaps a shower in spots in the afternoon, high 78. Turning out cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 59. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. There can be a passing shower in the afternoon, high temperature 82. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
It's 4 o'clock, Hartford temperature 75 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Investigators are trying to find out all they can about the 22-year-old man arrested in connection with the assassination this week of Charlie Kirk.
We got him. Authorities identified the suspected gunman in Wednesday's fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah.
A family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
The development comes after the FBI released surveillance video overnight of a person seen on a roof, then jumping down.
Correspondent Andres Gutierrez, the charges are suspicion of capital murder and weapons and other offenses.
And I asked the governor if they expected any other arrests or if he acted alone. He said they believe he acted alone, but it is still under investigation, and that could change.
Correspondent Carter Evans, a Secret Service agent, has been sidelined for comments posted to social media about the Kirk murder.
The U.S. Secret Service has put on leave an agent who expressed negative opinions on social media about slain conservative influencer Charlie Kirk. Officials told CBS News that the agent's security clearance was also pulled after his posts on Facebook that criticized Kirk. A Secret Service spokesperson told CBS that the agency won't tolerate behavior that violates its code of conduct. Jennifer Jacobs, CBS News, the White House.
In Enfield, police say they're investigating a serious crash this afternoon involving a car and a town Department of Public Works lawnmower. The incident occurred at North Main near Enfield Streets. Police say the drivers were taken to the hospital for treatment of serious injuries. No other details have been released. An arrest has been made in connection with a sexual assault last month in a New Haven park. Police say 34-year-old Ludwig Carius Interiano attacked the victim August 9th while she jogged in a city park. He's charged with sexual assaults and unlawful restraints. Police Chief Carl Jacobson praised the victim for her bravery in helping to collar the suspect.
But her resilience has potentially prevented this from happening to another person. So we are extremely grateful for the victim to come forward and have to go through this ordeal. And, we will continue to support her and pray for her.
The chief says a hit from the state lab led them to arrest Carius Interiano after it was learned he was wanted for a similar crime in Texas. He was arrested this week in West Haven and is charged with aggravated sexual assault and unlawful restraint. He's here illegally, the chief said. The bond is set at $750,000. In his hometown of East Hartford, Congressman John Larson announced his run for a 15th term in Congress. Several other Democrats are campaigning to beat the 77-year-old in a primary, but Larson says he welcomes the challenge and says he's confident he'll win.
It's time for Democrats to unite and stand together because we're in a fight. You know it, and I know it. So I ask you, are you ready for a fight? I officially announced my campaign for a congressman from the 1st District in the state of Connecticut.
Larson says President Trump, in his words, is terrorizing communities with ICE raids and seeking to privatize Social Security. Supporting him at the launch event was another veteran Democratic congressman, Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. Larson's challengers include former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin and West Hartford State Representative Jillian Gilchrist. The National Guard now headed to another city to fight crime.
President Trump is expanding his crackdown on crime, announcing plans to deploy National Guard troops to Memphis with support from some city and state leaders.
The mayor is happy. He's a Democrat mayor. The mayor is happy, and the governor, Tennessee. The governor is happy.
Tennessee Governor Bill Lee says he is coordinating with President Trump and his administration to work out the details of the mission. But other local officials, like the mayor of Shelby County, which includes the city of Memphis, opposed the decision.
Correspondent Erica Brown. Wall Street, the Dow down 273 points. NASDAQ finished up 98 to a record 22,000, and the S&P was down 3 points. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Oh, a minute.
High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath. You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area.
Here we go.
Plus the monthly service charge excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back. We're going to get traffic and weather in about a minute and a half with Mark Christopher, but I've just got to do this because I've got this this post that's some more commentary. There's some other commentary going in the chat room that I will not get into because, again, it's all over the place. But I want to read this one. This one says, folks, it's official. We are out of control. Charlie Kirk is being compared to John Kennedy. Please explain that one. Democrats are being vilified as dancing on Kirk's grave. Reese is supporting a guy who did not believe that he should have full civil rights. Kirk is being canonized by Republicans. That should tell Black Republicans all they need to know. Ethernet Trump's incessant idiotic statements and assigning blame for Kirk's death beyond Robinson is creating yet more divisiveness, because what was said right here by Bob J. does not create any divisiveness. Now, again, folks, what I want you to understand in this statement in and of itself, it's, aside from just calling it foolish, it is very textbook. And I'm going to lay it down. Obviously, Bob wasn't listening when I explained to him the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and why Charlie Kirk opposed it, as many else did. In fact, Stevie V put it in the chat room for people to read. If you're interested, please go to the Reese on the Radio page to read it. It is very simple. But again, even when it's explained in plain text and English, they fail to get it because, again, they want what they want. Let's get back to weather and traffic with Mark Christopher. He's in the BPS Traffic Center. We'll be back.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of I-91, look for delays 34 down to 32 A&B, and again down by exit 28. More slow traffic as you move down by exit 22 in the Route 9 interchange. And slow down again approaching 19 to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91 losing speed, Middletown into Meriden between 20 and 21. After that, a little slow by exit 22 and the Route 9 interchange in Cromwell. Westbound 84 slowing 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you're locked up approaching exit 44 Prospect Oakwood down into the tunnel. 291, 384, okay. If you're 2 westbound, you're slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound in Middletown slows 22 to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound Waterbury tight, 18 to the Mixmaster. And again by exit 26 in Cheshire. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 23 up to the Mixmaster. We have an accident now reported northbound on the Wilbur Cross Parkway between 46 and 50 in Hamden. That's right near the West Rock Tunnel. Look for delays pushing back toward Orange behind that. Southbound 95, you got delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
This report is brought to you by Moderna.
Mnexspike, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna, is now available and easy to find near you. To learn more, visit mnexspike.com. That's MNEXSPIKE.com.
WTIC weather.
Rest of this afternoon, sunny to partly cloudy and pleasant. High temperature not far from 77. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 54. Tomorrow, times of clouds and sun, a shower in spots late in the afternoon. Much of the time will be dry. High temperature 78. Turning cloudy tomorrow night, low 59. On Sunday, mostly cloudy, a passing shower in the afternoon, high 82. On Monday, perhaps a shower early, otherwise clouds and sun with a high of 80. Right now it's 77 in Berlin, 76 in Newington, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume by New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair aisle at your local CVS.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit ColumbiaDental.com.
Join Mark Patrick's seminars and lose the weight guaranteed.
Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick seminars. No matter how many times you tried to quit, this hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. That's right. Weight loss seminar Saturday, September 20th at the Holiday Inn Express in Southington. Time is 11 a.m. Registration begins at 10:30. Stop smoking seminar starts at 2 p.m. Registration starts at 1:30. Information at markpatrickseminars.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
We are back just after the top of the hour. Plenty of news going into. Charlie Kirk is pretty much dominating the headlines. There, of course, there are some local stories that are going on. We will be getting to them Monday. In due course, we have plenty of stuff to talk about that is happening in and around the state, but we draw our national attention towards this. Roseanne said something off the mic, off the air, and I'd been thinking about that for quite some time, and it is the governor of Utah, Spencer Cox. And you want to tell everybody what you said?
Yeah, first thing I said was whatever he runs for, I'm voting for him.
Mm-hmm.
And you agreed, but then the next thing I said was I think Vance should make him his VP.
Yeah, his
when
running
he runs,
mate.
yeah.
Yeah, he has been absolutely thoughtful, prophetic. He said the right things. And the thing, he is not, I don't want to say that he has oratory skills, but a lot of his speeches, if you've seen him during the press conference,
he's measured.
He is very measured. That's one. And two, no teleprompter needed.
Right.
His thoughts are his own, and he is expressing them freely.
What I'm really appreciating about him is he's able to convey that he's experiencing emotion without blubbering like a little baby and crying.
Right.
Like, he's emoting.
Yeah.
He makes it very evident, but he maintains a level of composure that is comforting. Like, we need as leaders, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, we need the people in charge of our country to be strong. We need a strong foundation. And you're not a strong foundation if every emotion is flying out of you and you're flamboyant or you're rage-filled or you're crying every time. Like, we need steady.
Yeah.
We need steadfast. We need stability as a nation.
And it's interesting that, going back to Charlie Kirk as it relates to Governor Spencer Cox, is Spencer Cox is born in 1973. Charlie Kirk was born in 1993. Okay? This man, 20 years Charlie Kirk's senior. And he said that when he got angry at this, he sought Charlie Kirk's words
Yeah.
as comfort, and that calmed him down, told him to put down the device, be with your family, which goes to the gravity of who Charlie Kirk is and what he spoke about. Can I play? I need to play this again. This thing that he did.
I'm going to cry, but
no,
please go ahead.
I just want to play the thing with the young black woman who was there with her baby. And as he's talking to her, the baby is, reaching for the mic, as all children do, reaching for the mic. And, he then talks about that young lady's daughter and that child. And when you hear it, you just go, Charlie
The
knew.
racist guy?
Yeah, the racist guy.
Okay,
But Charlie knew how to speak to people. And you can hear the black woman, by the way, in the background. You can hear her agreeing with him about some things as it went to the welfare system. I didn't get to play all of it earlier. I want to play all of it now.
Unfortunately, in the black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. You know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act, and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately...
Now, hold on now. There's a reason why I got to stop this. The racist was talking about the vital role of a father to that black woman and her black child, and was talking about what that father teaches, what it means to a daughter, like what he teaches to a daughter, right? Teaches her about justice and not revenge, right? All of those things he's talking about that child's black father and his role. That's what he thought of men, not white men.
Just
he thought
men
of
in
men.
general.
He saw that no matter what they were.
Men are men.
Exactly.
It's not your skin color. It is either you're a man or you're not.
That's right. And again, this is not Charlie Kirk on the phone with this black woman. He is not speaking to her via Skype or Zoom. He is right in her face.
She's standing feet away from him.
Exactly. Talking directly to her, talking about the value of the child's father. Again, knowing nothing about the man, but immediately putting that father on a pedestal as to what his value is to that child.
His
right?
minimum standard.
Saying that he acknowledges that black fathers are absentee to a 2/3 level, but the importance of having him there. So if you miss that, by the way, I'm always, and I say it, I know I'm bragging, but I don't mean to be. I always pay attention to the nuance in this because, again, he is talking about a black man. He can clearly tell that that child has a black father. He doesn't see that the child possibly has a black kid. He is not speaking in racial tones. He's not even talking about race. He's talking about a father.
I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. You know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act. And
that is how a man should act.
Someone that I ought to one day marry.
I mean, come on.
Someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. Mm-hmm. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around, not the dad leaving. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance. And so
did you hear her?
This is very true.
She's agreeing with him, and he even points it out.
You agree. We're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family. That is the number one priority.
I'm so chilled by the audience's reaction to that statement. The yeahs, the applauding. That every time I hear that applause, I played that video in my, before the show like 3 or 4 times. Every time I listen to it, I just go, because that again it's off the cuff, right? He's talking to this young woman. He's speaking.
There's no script. There's nothing pre-coordinated.
Exactly.
Charlie Kirk's message when he sits down, when he gets done doing his speaking, he says, if you disagree with me, please come to the front. Right? That's what he says. If you disagree with me, come to the front. Let's have a conversation. First of all, that is something that nobody does anymore. If you disagree with someone, you're told to ignore your family, cut ties with your parents, never see them again because you don't need that sort of hateful violence in your life. Words are violence now, apparently. But for this young man to walk into an environment where he knows he is likely outnumbered in his thought process, in his belief system. He knows he's outnumbered, but he goes in there No bulletproof glass, no armed security. He just sits there.
Right.
And
He's
it's just
not
come
the
to the
Pope,
mic.
right? He doesn't come there
Right.
like the Pope.
He sits there and gives them a mic. He's got a student standing there holding the mic for them. What do you got to say? Let's have a conversation. And to look at this young, that was, if you didn't see the video and you're only listening on the radio, it's a young black woman, 22, 24,
Tops.
maybe.
Tops, yeah.
Right? And her baby's about 2 years old. And he's just looking at her and he's talking to her the way that he talks to any other human being. He doesn't see a black mother. He doesn't see an Asian man. He sees a young mother.
He sees Americans.
He sees an American, but he sees a mother, regardless of what nation. She could have been an immigrant for all I know.
Yeah.
He sees a young mother struggling to raise her baby on her own.
Yeah, you actually, this particular video is important to you. And the reason why I know that, you talk about knowing each other for so long, is that one of the things you found that was very important about Ellis, about your son, was the fact that you said that he needed a strong man in his life, especially even if it were in a stepfather role. You needed
I
someone.
can't teach him how to be a man.
Right.
I can teach him how to behave. I can teach him how I expect to be treated, right? How I expect a man to treat me. But if he doesn't have an example of it, right? Our kids do what we do. They don't do what we say.
Yeah. We used to have discussions all the time in the beginning of our relationship. I remember one day, this when we were living on
Third floor
at
or
the
first
house,
floor?
in the house, when we'd moved there, and we were having a discussion and saying that I guess we had an argument of some sorts, like we had a disagreement of something, and we were having a discussion after that, and I was saying, I hope that the boy hears our disagreements and doesn't see vitriol. Like he sees that when we are having discussions, we're not fighting with one another.
We sat on the couch.
Yeah.
We sat on the couch and faced each other, and I put my feet on your shin because I wanted to be touching you. I think there's something very intimate about being able to disagree and still being connected.
Right.
Right? And we discussed, it was a volley, a back and forth, and the boy walked in from school in the middle of this argument and went to his bedroom, which I thought was really interesting, is from where I was sitting, I could see his bedroom door. He didn't close his bedroom door. He left it open.
Yeah. And so
he was
listened
listening to the way that we carried on our disagreement, our back and forth.
Yeah. And we talked about how important that was.
It is for him to see. It's important for him to see you and I hugging, holding hands. It's important that he sees. My husband, ladies and gentlemen, never lets me open a door. I'm not allowed to carry anything heavier than my purse. And even most of the time he ends up carrying it for me. My son sees these things. These are things I can't teach him. I can say, hey, you should do this. He'll resent me making him carry my bags around the grocery store. But if he sees a man, a strong, confident, capable man, relieving my burden, that's what he aspires to. That, in his mind, is proper behavior.
Yeah,
and I was never going to be able to teach him that. And I knew that. I knew that. From the day his father and I split up, I knew my son was going to need a strong, black, positive male role model in his life. Why black? Because he's a black man, and unfortunately, he has to navigate this world as a black man, and sometimes that can be bumpy.
Because sometimes it will be beyond his control that he has to navigate as a black man.
He has to see a strong, confident black man approach and handle a situation where his race may become a factor. And if he doesn't have a man strong enough, capable of handling that situation, he's never going to have an example of how to handle that.
Yeah. And it's important because it's funny that you bring that up, because I remember one of the biggest problems I had with Caleb was, he was with some friends in Boston, and his friends that he was with, they were throwing rocks at windows at an abandoned building. And the police came by, and after, I had to go pick him up at the police station.
Wow.
And it was one of those things where, as a parent, that you're going to experience that once, and I did. And I never thought it would be like that would be my life.
Oh God, I hope I never have to
Yeah,
experience
exactly.
that.
exactly. Right. You don't expect it, but it's something that you have to kind of prepare yourself for. So we go there, we pick him up at the police station and the whole thing. And we go to a restaurant afterwards when you have to have a talk. And he is screaming and hollering about how the police officers behaved or treated him. And he thought they never locked him up. They didn't put him behind a cage. They made him sit down at the desk. They never even put him behind a jail cell. But in some way, he was behaving as if because they were sort of disappointed or angry at the fact that they had to haul these kids in for doing such a heinous vandal. He was like, but I didn't do anything. I was like, okay, but you were with people who were. He was like, yeah, they were being racist to me. I was like, why were they being racist? Were you put in a cell? He was like, no. I was like, why weren't you put in a cell? I said, the people you were with were white kids. They went into a cell. My half-black kid was put at a desk, and he was never put in handcuffs.
Yeah.
Why? I said, why didn't they put you in, was him? He goes, I don't know, I was just sitting there. I said, so they didn't catch you in the act of committing a crime? He goes, no, then they treated you as such.
Right.
Do you understand that? It was like, and I understand that you want to go towards that, but your white friends that you were with were all put in jail cells, and they all had to be wait until their parents came up to get them out of a jail cell. You, for just being there, were sat in a chair. You got the respect that you deserve.
You were treated accordingly.
You were treated accordingly.
Right.
They did not lump you all in. So please stop telling me that. And again, he kept saying, it was like, you don't understand. I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't understand. I'm a black man in Boston.
I'm a full black man in Boston.
Born in 1969. It's like, what are you talking about? So there's that, that's sort of like having to navigate through that and understanding that, again, there are racial components to this that when applied, you have to deal with.
Right.
So I get your point when you say that there are going to be some circumstances beyond his control where his race will play a factor, and he's got to know how to navigate through that. And I had to go through that with Caleb to say that, look, you're missing the point here. Like, this isn't what you think it is. And I'm not going to allow you to just call it that.
You are Jewish. He's doing what any kid is going to do. Look, a boundary, I'm going to see how far I can push it. Maybe I can get away with it.
Exactly.
And a lot of parents, unfortunately, fall for, oh, that's my black baby. You know what? I love my son. If he got into, my son knows, if he ever gets arrested, this is how you respond. My name is blah, 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 blah. Here's my ID. This is my address. You need my social? Sure, here's my social. Answer 0 questions. When you call me, say nothing. Just tell me to come pick you up, and I will be there. If they are in the wrong, that police station will be named after you, and we'll be living fat. But if you earned it, you earned it. Shut up.
Yep, indeed. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you are heading into the Hartford area right now and you're on the southbound side of I-91, look for delays from exit 33 down to 32 A and B, and again down by exit 28. South of town, you're slowing again, approaching 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Northbound 91, some slow traffic, 20 in Middletown up to 21 in Cromwell. After that, moving well, Hartford up in Windsor. Westbound 84 is tight at 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you got delays from 44 down into the tunnel. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge. Both sides of 9, heavy approach in the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. If you're traveling into Waterbury, 84 eastbound, delays 18 to the Mixmaster. Westbound 84 slowing from 25A up to the Mixmaster. Northbound on the Parkway, you've got some slow traffic as you move up on exit 46 in the West Rock Tunnel. Southbound on the Parkway, you've got delays approaching the West Rock Tunnel. 95 South New Haven, tight 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This traffic report is being brought to you by Stu Leonard's Farm Fresh Foods. This week, Stu Leonard's app deals. Local New York State apples are just 99 cents a pound. You save $1. Plus, organic seedless red or green grapes are just $2.99 per pound. See more weekly deals at StuLeonards.com.
WTIC weather.
Sunny to partly cloudy skies the remainder of this afternoon. High temperature not far from 77. Tonight will turn out partly cloudy with a low of 54. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun. It will be comfortable. There may be an isolated shower in spots later in the afternoon, high 78. Partly to mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 59. Rather cloudy on Sunday with a passing shower in the afternoon, high 82. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The person accused in the assassination of Charlie Kirk will be arraigned next week on capital murder and other charges. Authorities today announced the arrest of 22-year-old Utah resident Tyler Robinson. The law enforcement officials out there say he confessed to the killing to family members who then held him to be picked up. Kirk was shot once in the neck during an appearance Wednesday at Utah Valley University. In New Haven, police have arrested a man they say sexually assaulted a female jogger in a city park last month. Ludwig Carias Interiano is charged. It was August 9th that the victim says she was confronted by the suspect armed with a box cutter and assaulted. Carias Interiano, who Police Chief Carl Jacobson says is in the country illegally, is charged with aggravated assault and reckless endangerment. 2 people were injured in Enfield today when a car and a Department of Public Works lawnmower were involved in a crash. The incident occurred in the area of North Main and Enfield Streets. Those involved were taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Congressman John Larson announced his plans for re-election during an appearance in his hometown of East Hartford today. The 77-year-old Democrat being challenged from within his own party for the first time. He was first elected in 1998. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer says he's willing to risk a government shutdown at the end of the month if Republicans don't accept Democratic demands on health care. Schumer tells the AP he and the House Democratic leader oppose any legislation that doesn't include key health care provisions and a commitment not to roll them back. And fall fair season is in full swing this weekend in Berlin, the Berlin Fair and the Four Towns Fair taking place. Also, the Big E officially opened today in West Springfield for a 2-week run. Connecticut Day is Wednesday. It was an up-and-down day on Wall Street, a mixed bag with the Dow falling 273 points, the NASDAQ up 98. That was a record 22,000 for the first time, and the S&P down 3 points. Red Sox back on TIC tonight. Huge series with the Yankees at Fenway. We'll take air with the pregame at 6:10. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Your home equity could vanish almost overnight, stolen by scammers who forge a deed and transfer it out of your name. The FBI calls it house stealing, and the worst part is you may not know it until it's too late. Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO for a 30-day free trial, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Go to HomeTitleLock now, promo code RADIO.
University of Maryland Global Campus offers more than 55 flexible online certificates that provide short-term credentials and real-world skills you can use immediately. With a range of affordable undergraduate and graduate certificates in high-demand fields like business, AI, cybersecurity, data analytics, and healthcare. Credentials quickly to help advance your career.
Really
Learn
Jewish
more
now.
at umgc.edu.
down.
That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah, we've got plenty of stuff to get into, but when we return, we're going to talk to Pastor Jacob Dell. We'll talk to him. He is from the First Congressional Church of Woodbury. He'll be our guest when we come back, and we'll talk about the sermon that he plans on this weekend and some of the things that he's doing. He's always giving me a heads up, and I saw it this morning. I have to say this. I don't even understand why, but, you know, Roseanne, like after the show, usually Roseanne and I will do something afterwards. Why? Because I'm in my office for so long, Roseanne will tell me, okay, now you got to spend time with me. And, she says I'm always sort of.
What you mean is you want to spend time with me. I don't have to tell you. You just
But
naturally want to.
You tell me.
I'm helping you out here.
That's
helping
okay.
you.
No, with honest place. So it's not that I don't want to spend time with her. Of course, I love hanging out with my wife. I love talking to her, and I love being around her. But after the show, usually I'm doing post work. I'm setting up the audio for the show and stuff like that. But usually we will do something where we get outside of the house because we've been here all day. And as my wife says, do you mind if I say this? What
Go
you call
ahead.
it?
I'm pretty
you
sure.
call it. She says you have to take me for my walk now.
Why?
Because if you don't, then I'll poop all over the house.
I'm going to poop on the carpet.
So I've got to make sure that I make some time for her to go out. And we do that. So we go out. And so yesterday after the show, as we're sitting down, she's watching Modern Family because I'm telling her to get off her phone. And Modern Family is her favorite show, so she'll watch that on Hulu, and she'll watch episode after episode. And because the characters are just so funny and the writing is so on point, it takes her mind away from those things. So I'm sitting there, and I fall asleep sitting, which I've never done. And she goes, I see you there falling asleep. And I go, yeah. I'm like, I don't know why. And she goes, you're mentally exhausted. And it was so true. I was so exhausted. I didn't realize it. And then come to this morning, and I woke up an hour and a half after the time I usually get up.
Wow.
And when I got up and I looked at it, and my alarm went off. And I said, I need 5 more minutes. And
Wow,
then it was
you
45.
never do that.
Yeah, I never do that. And I went to sleep, and it was almost an hour and a half after I had hit my alarm. Wow. And I did not realize it. And I got up, and I just went, wow, like I was really, like this had really weighed on me. Just everything that was going on, just so fast-paced. And I started thinking about it. I just said, okay, I need a break. I will say this. This was an interesting thing. We went to dinner two nights in a row. The night before last.
In the same neighborhood.
In the same neighborhood. The night before last, the gentleman who was our waiter was a Hispanic man who said that Charlie Kirk had inspired him, which I thought was interesting.
He was a Salvadoran immigrant. And said that, he had changed, that Charlie Kirk had changed his mind, he said, an older gentleman. I thought that was amazing. And then we went to a Puerto Rican restaurant yesterday, and we had this waiter, and he had a Spanish name, and I couldn't quite remember. His name was Jeffrey.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yes.
Well, I thought it was like a weird Spanish name that I couldn't figure out. Jeffrey was his name?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was like...
His accent was really thick, though,
Oh, okay, all right. Do you know if it was a G or a Jeff? So I don't want anybody to be confused when I write a Yelp review. Let's go to traffic and weather with Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
I love you.
It's spelled with a G, too. Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading on 9 northbound in Newington, look out for a crash northbound Route 9 between 37 and 38. The left lane is shut down there, and you're seeing delays back to the 72 interchange. Also, 9 northbound slowing in Middletown, Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge, and again, some delays by exit 36 in New Britain. 84 eastbound Hartford slows just after 44 Prospect Oakwood down to the Bulkley. Westbound 84 is tied up 56 Governor Street out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. Southbound 91 look for delays 33 down to 32 A and B. A little slow down by exit 28 in Hartford. If you're traveling 91 southbound, again, some slow traffic. Cromwell by 23 down to 22 in the Route 9 interchange. Southbound 91 delays from 20 Country Club Road down to 17 for the Wilbur-Cross Parkway. Northbound 91 slows from exit 20 up to 21 in Cromwell. After that, pretty good ride. Hartford up into Windsor. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West Merge. 9 northbound, you've got delays Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Heading into Waterbury, westbound 84 tied up 26 in Cheshire up to the Mixmaster.
Yes, it was, Michael B. That was racist.
Down to the 691 interchange. If you are traveling on the northbound side of Route 9, look for some slow traffic as you move into downtown Middletown. Looks like there could be an accident on the northbound side of Route 9 in that area, so you got delays 22 up to the actually 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $125 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 9/13. And save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
WTIC weather.
Sunny to partly cloudy and pleasant the remainder of this afternoon. High temperature around 77. Tonight will be partly cloudy, low 54. Tomorrow, times of clouds and sun. Nothing more than an isolated shower later in the afternoon, high 78. Tomorrow night, partly to mostly cloudy with a low of 59. Sunday, mainly cloudy and warm. An isolated shower in the afternoon, high 82. Clouds and sun on Monday, perhaps a shower to start the day, high temperature 80. Tuesday, partly sunny, high once again 80. Right now it's 77 in Windsor, 73 in Coventry, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Smurbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
At Joe the Plumber, we know that toilets and sinks always pick the worst times to act up. That's why we promise fast, friendly, reliable service. The friendly part is about you, not the plumbing. We're going to get medieval on that. Visit us at calljoetheplumber.com.
There's more to Connecticut with CT Insider, a hometown behind every headline. With every issue, investigation, or interview, there's more when you're following from the inside. Visit ctinsider.com for more.
Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune into the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. Hey, retirement income. Are you sure that you're maximizing your retirement income? Get the retirement income checklist from us, absolutely free. Text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. Again, call or text the word checklist to 1-800-705-1232. A checklist to maximize your retirement income.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio. With gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The NAACP calls him, whoa, I don't think I'm allowed to read this. It's Reese on the Radio. Let's just say some people are not fans. On News Talk 1080, WTIC.
Now that promo Roseanne loves. I personally love that too. Who did I write that one, Roland? Did I write that particular one? I feel like I did. Did I write? I wrote that bit? Yes, I figured I did. That sounds like something I would write. Let's get to our guest. Prematurely, I didn't plan on him being on the show, but you know what? I called him and I thought about this. One of the places that we should always go is one prayer. And of course, we have somebody who I'd like to call the unofficial pastor of the Reese on the Radio show, and that is none other than Reverend Jacob Dell, who is inspiring and a fighter in a way that many people of the church have not been in a long time. He is, of course, the Reverend of the First Congregational Church of Woodbury. How are you, Pastor?
Doing well, Reese. Thank you for the honor. I'm glad to be the pastor of the show.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, good. Look at that. All I had to do was ask, and he becomes the pastor. That easy. Talk to me a little bit about. You sent a message to me this morning talking about how your sermon this weekend is going to be about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Without giving it all away, can you tell us a little bit of some of the bullet points of that, and we'll talk about some other stuff as well.
Sure. I mean, I think, how could I not deal with this, right? I think I've gotten so many text messages, so many messages on Facebook. People in my congregation are just calling me, asking me what happened, what's going on. My daughter, my oldest daughter, is really the scales are coming off from her eyes. Right, this younger generation is witnessing in real time. This is their Kent State. This is their RFK assassination moment, right?
Yeah.
And it's radicalizing them to some extent. So they need the wisdom from some of the older generation, from the scriptures, from the Bible, to speak to them. And that's what I want to do. And one of the things I want to tell them is, look, Generation Z, we who went before you, the boomers, Generation X, my generation, we failed you. We're handing you a mess.
Yeah.
And Charlie Kirk tried to clean up that mess, and he paid for it with his life. So we're going to help you now. What do you need us to do? We're going to clear the decks. We're going to get serious finally, and help you do what you need to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again, that this stops with your generation. So that's the first theme. And then, I'm going to try to get down to some brass tacks and what can we do? And the church has been asleep at the wheel, asleep at the switch for generations. And so I want to talk about some of the things I heard about on Wednesday evening when I attended at Senator Henry Martin's invitation and gave the invitation for this GOP leadership meeting that they had in Berlin, Connecticut.
Talk to us a little bit about that. You weren't really sure. You gave the invocation, but you said that you came away from it, and I'm putting these words in your mouth, and if I'm wrong, correct me. But you seemed a little less inspired at the end. Can you tell us about that?
Well, so let me tell you what inspired me first. First, what inspired me was to see the GOP House and Senate leadership working together for the first time in living memory. That's inspiring. The second thing was inspiring to hear them talk about a plan to go town to town and sell them on why, what they're offering is better than the alternative. 30% of Christians don't even bother to vote. And when I heard that, that's where, that's demoralizing when I hear that. Because, what are we doing? But that's where I can make a difference. That's where Christians and pastors can make a difference. We got to mobilize that vote. We need to get Christians out to vote. We need to get them registered and help people, good people like Senator Martin and Senator Harding, who are carrying the torch. Let them know we have their backs. 34. This is what I found discouraging. 34 towns in this state ran unopposed. In other words, the GOP just gave those elections to the Democrats. 34 went unopposed. And when I asked why, the explanation I was given is that the central party leadership thinks it's better to let some of these races go unopposed because they're quote unquote unwinnable. Because if you run somebody, then somehow the other side, the Democrats get more money. Every candidate gets more money, right? So it's like giving oxygen to your opponent.
Right.
Well, okay, I get that. But on the other hand, you can't win the World Series if you never make a base hit, right? You're not going to win the Super Bowl if you can't make a first down.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's a loser, that's a lose to win strategy.
Yes.
That doesn't work for me.
And I love the way that you quoted that in your text. You said you're also going to challenge Ben Proto's lose to win strategy because that's not what any strategy is. I mean, not a winning one.
That's exactly right. And so, if they can't find people to run in these 34 towns, well, maybe the church can start to run people. Maybe we need to step up and fill the vacuum here. I don't want the church to become a political party. I'm not saying that. But there are men and women in our pews who can get out there and do this job.
It's so funny that you just said this, right? So this attitude of like, if someone does run, it only fuels the Democrats to get more money. And you know what I immediately thought about, Pastor, when you mentioned that? I was talking about this before the death of Charlie Kirk. I think it was either Monday or Tuesday. And I was saying that we had become a party, if not a nation, after September 11th, which started talking about, and I made this argument as when it came to Republicans. I said that it was weird that when we were attacked on September 11th, every politician was trying to figure out what they could do to stop them from hating us. And then we got terms like Islamophobia, right? You can't criticize the Muslim faith. You can't criticize Muslims because that would only energize or galvanize people to attack us. And I said, why wasn't that ever the case when it came to Donald Trump or even in this case, Charlie Kirk? Why calling those people fascists was not treated in the same way in which we were talking about is radical Islamic terrorism. Like, we need to stop calling them that because we're only going to embolden them. Why wouldn't they say that about conservatism? And you're just saying the same thing that Ben Proto's saying, is that if we challenge these folks, we're only going to galvanize them more, which in essence is a retreat. It's not a lose to win strategy. It is a retreat strategy, bar none. Like, that's it. It's only a retreat strategy.
That's right. It's kind of a Stockholm syndrome, of politics, or a Stockholm syndrome kind of Christianity that, we are going to always be losing. And so therefore, let's not even try. And I suspect that's why 30% of Christians don't vote.
Yeah, that's an important point. Roseanne is like shaking her head. She wants to jump in here real quick. Pastor, may I introduce you to my wife, Roseanne?
Hi, Pastor.
Hello, Roseanne.
It's a pleasure. I have to jump in. A couple of things. Not running against Democrats because they're going to get more money is like not killing a roach because there's 1,000 more behind the walls. Not fighting Democrats or going up against Democrats. Why did we even bother going into World War II? Why did we have an American Revolution? Why do we have a Civil War? Why do we have a Civil Rights Movement? There's just going to be more people that are going to be, oh, no, we're going to make them angry. You know what? Sometimes you have to make people angry in order to reestablish balance. And right now, with the lack of balance, we've got all these wackadoos running our country, and they're doing insane things like this. They're destroying what our founding fathers established. So this fear of running because we don't want them to don't kill the roaches. Fine. Let them infest.
Pastor?
Well, exactly. It's kind of like black mold in the wall, right? I mean, if you don't do anything about it, let's just not turn on the lights. That's the whole attitude.
There you go.
Pastor, I think, Roseanne is reestablishing, and I use that term because I think that's a fair way to place it. She is reestablishing her faith in a lot of ways, and she is very involved in it. In fact, she has been very inspired by the passing of Charlie Kirk. It's funny because there are two renaissance in a way that is happening with Roseanne. After the attempted assassin of Donald Trump, she became MAGA. Now, after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, she's already purchased a Bible. She wants to live a more conservative life. She wants to become. She wants to follow her Christian faith. What advice would you give Roseanne with that? And if possible, can she join the church?
Join the church. If you haven't been baptized, come and we'll baptize you. Read your Bible every day. Just start in the New Testament. Start with Mark. Read through it. I can give you a Bible reading plan where you can get through most of it in 1 year. It's a little bit hard the first few weeks, first few months, because it's strange and it's new and these names are a little unfamiliar. But by the second time through, these become your old friends. And there's just the wisdom of God himself in those pages.
If I may ask your permission, can I forward her your telephone number? If you guys could communicate, maybe you can? Okay. Sweetheart, I will do that for you. Because she's turning to me, but I will say that, look, of course, I'd love to engage this with my wife, but I always feel that you leave certain jobs to the professionals. Sometimes I forget that you and I have a relationship, so I wanted to put you on the spot while you were on the show to see if you would actually. I'm you're a good guy.
Pastor of the show will do it. I don't know what a baptism on the radio would look like.
Well, I did think, I thought about this and I said, wow, what a great relationship I could build between yourself and Roseanne. That the fact that she's been talking about it so much, and these two events have really been, like I said, it's been a revolution for her. And I'd like to get you two together. So I'm going to pass your information on to her.
Look forward to that.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
My pleasure. So if there's anything, again, that you can share with us, those of us who are angry, distraught, confused, what would you tell your congregation? I know you have a sermon coming, but if you could maybe sort of spitball off the top of your head, as the rappers do, just give me a little freestyle.
Sure. The anger is understandable. Let it be righteous anger, right? Let the legacy of Charlie Kirk be a transformed society, a reformed society. We have to take up the mantle that he left. We have to. I saw a meme that was going around where the microphone was dropped And he was asking Jesus as he was going into heaven, is someone going to pick up the mic? And Jesus said, yes, someone's going to pick up the mic. Well, there need to be 1 million of us to pick up that microphone, right? So, this isn't about getting revenge. This isn't about hating anyone. This is about this is about turning the turning point, fulfilling that mandate. We've come through it. We've turned the corner now with what happened this week. And I actually think that there's an old saying, the blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. And I think that we're seeing that already. And as tragic as this is, there is optimism, because you can already hear the music in heaven. You can hear those trumpets. You can taste the glory already that he's experiencing right now. And I think that's only going to we're going to experience that in this country in the coming weeks and months.
Pastor, I will tell you, I say it often on the show that I do not believe in coincidences. And do you know what 2 words are being expressed about the passing and the murder and the death of Charlie Kirk? They say that the world has reached a turning point. How prophetic, right?
Well, it was prophetic when he came up with that phrase years ago.
Yeah.
And this is how. And again, as you read your Bible, as you see these words that repeat themselves over centuries, over millennia that God has written, it's all he has a plan.
Yeah.
And that plan is conceived in love, and it's for our salvation.
Absolutely. Pastor Jacob Dell of the First Congregational Church of Woodbury and the official pastor of the Reese On The Radio show, I thank you, sir, and thank you for coming on in such short notice.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you. Jacob Dell, everybody else. And I think we just found our new church. I think we have.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm really, it comes in way, and it sounds so crazy, right? Because I didn't know Charlie Kirk, but
you didn't know Trump either.
That's true. But Charlie, I feel like what Charlie Kirk did for me was far more significant and personal. I've been asking you for a couple of weeks to go through the Bible with me. Like, you are the spiritual head of our home, right? I want everybody to understand, I have never been a traditional woman. I've never been a woman to follow her husband's lead. I don't listen. I still don't listen. I'm not very good at listening. Christianity was not something that I'd ever considered, because I vehemently have been against it. Slowly but surely listening to Charlie Kirk and watching his example, the way he talks about his role as a husband, the way he talks about his role as a father.
Yeah.
It's really made a huge impact on the desire that I have to be a better wife. Maybe I can learn how to listen. Maybe I can learn how to.
When you say it like that, I'm almost embarrassed.
No,
We got to take a break in a minute, but we'll talk a little bit more about this. Like I said, folks, if you want to share your thoughts and the conversation, I promise we will get to the phone calls in the next hour. I know this has been all over the place, but we are here. 1-860-522-WTIC. Let's get another check of weather and traffic with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. Well, right now coming into Hartford on the southbound side of I-91, look for some slow traffic now from exit 34 down to 32A and B. You're going to see slow traffic again as you move by exit 28, and some more sluggish traffic from just after 20 Country Club Road in Middletown down to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway in Meriden. Northbound 91, some slow traffic, 20 Country Club Road up to 22 in the Route 9 interchange. After that, easy ride Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up, 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing as you approach 46 Sisson Avenue to the Bulkley Bridge. 291 through 84 okay. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound Middletown slows Harbor Park up to the Aragoni Bridge. Then you're going to see delays again as you move up on exit 34. We have an accident on 9 northbound in the Newington between 37 and 38. The left lane shut down there, so you want to stay right there. If you are traveling toward Waterbury right now, westbound side of 84, you're going to see delays from 23 up to the Mixmaster. Heading into New Haven, southbound 95 tight 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
This report is brought to you by Moderna.
Mnexspike, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA by Moderna has arrived. To learn more and find it near you, visit mnexspike.com. That's MNEXSPIKE.com.
WTIC weather.
Rest of this afternoon, sunshine mixing with a few clouds. It will be pleasant. High temperature not far from 77. Tonight will be partly cloudy with a low of 54. Tomorrow, a weak disturbance aloft moves across the area with clouds and sun, perhaps a shower in spots in the afternoon, high 78, turning out cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 59. On Sunday, mostly cloudy skies. There can be a passing shower in the afternoon, high temperature 82. This is meteorologist Bob Smurbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock, good afternoon. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Utah Governor Spencer Cox made the announcement this morning at a news conference.
We got him.
Suspect accused in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He is 22-year-old Utah resident Tyler Robinson. He's charged with capital murder, is in jail, and will be arraigned next week. Carter Evans reports authorities are still looking for answers.
His political leanings were certainly part of this, but what was it exactly that drove him to go find that gun, get in the car, drive 250 miles north, and actually follow through with this crime?
More from correspondent Anna Schechter.
That communication with the roommate is all going to be going into those charging documents, and essentially prosecutors are going to be going to a jury and telling the timeline, telling the story of what happened in the hours leading up to this assassination.
Students at college campuses across the country are reacting to the murder.
I'm Stacey Lynn. In Pennsylvania, a vigil was held by the Pitt College Republicans.
This is a turning point in our nation. We need to come to God. We need to pray for the soul of our nation.
At the University of Kentucky,
regardless of what your views are, whoever, I feel like this is just a time of mourning.
Kirk was scheduled to be a guest speaker this week at a conference at Cherris Bible College in Colorado. They still held the event without him.
With every honk that is received, every wave, every recognition of Charlie shows his love, how much people loved him.
Contrary to comments by President Trump, the mayor of Memphis, saying that the mayor of Memphis was happy about the National Guard coming into his city to fight crime. That's not the case, Paul Young says, although he says that the decision has been made. This comes on the heels of National Guard deployments to L.A. and Washington, D.C. recently. Police in New Haven say they have arrested a suspect in the sexual assault of a female jogger last month in a city dog park. He's 34 years old, was arrested this week in West Haven. It was August 9th that the victim was confronted by the suspect, who was wielding a box cutter. Police Chief Carl Jacobson says the person had ties to Texas, where a similar assault was committed.
The state lab was able to identify a DNA profile, which was compared with a national database, leading to an unsolved sex assault in Plano, Texas. Detectives in that case were able to develop a suspect, Ludwig Carius Interano.
Chief says Carius Interiano is in the country illegally. He faces charges of aggravated assault and unlawful restraint, bond set at $750,000. Facing his first serious primary challenge since he was first elected nearly 3 decades ago, incumbent Democrat John Larson launched his latest campaign for Congress at an East Haven Union Hall. He says President Trump's trying to privatize Social Security and exploit Americans' personal data. Democrats need to unite against him.
You sent me here to expose them. You sent me there to stop them. We've done it before, and with your help, we're going to do it again as well. Just look at our record. Look at our record versus Trump's.
Among those supporting Larson at the event, veteran Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. Challengers to Larson include former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin and West Hartford State Representative Jillian Gilchrist. Wall Street, the Dow down 273 points today. NASDAQ finished up 98, and the S&P was down 3. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free information kit. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090. 800-714-9090.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the Radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And no way did I even realize that we were that close. Here we are at the 5 o'clock hour. I can do Hollywood news because I'm actually interested in a film that I got really upset about that is not going to be out until next year. Do you remember the movie I was watching, the trailer I was watching yesterday? It called The Rip.
The Rip.
And I don't know why, for some odd reason, I like watching these two together in film, even though
They have great chemistry.
They do, but I never go to see a film with them. How do I put it?
You wait for it to come on TV?
Yeah, it's weird. I won't never go to the theaters, but every time I see it, I end up liking it. So it's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Now, Matt Damon, when he does films on his own, with the exception of the Bourne films, which I really, really like because, they're action, I really don't watch a lot of his other films. For some odd reason, I'm just not really interested in them. Ben Affleck, on the other hand, with the exception of the Batman stuff, I actually kind of like him in movies. He did this film about him becoming he was an alcoholic and became the coach of a basketball team. For the life of me, I'm forgetting the name of it. The Winning Season? It may be something else.
We watched that together, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We watched it together. And that was a great movie. And he's great in independent films, Ben Affleck is. And you said something interesting. You said, funny how he's getting much more attractive now in his older age.
It's not fair that men get more attractive and we have to work and we require some sort of medical intervention to maintain.
but they're in this new movie together, which I'm very excited about. Why? And the only reason why is because I've seen them play bad guys before in the film Dogma. And Matt Damon was actually really funny. I loved as far as the pairing goes, I loved Matt Damon's character in Dogma. He was kind of a badass and a bit rude. But this movie, The Rip, they play two corrupt police officers in Miami, which is a real departure for either one of them. Usually they play pretty good friends. And I understand in this film, they're kind of going to have a little bit of animus between them, which would be an interesting dynamic. But that has failed me before. And the reason why I mention it, and I'll do it real quick, Robert De Niro and Al Pacino.
I think I just rolled my eyes so far back into my head.
They did that movie Heat together. I'll talk about it at the end, but they did something interesting in another movie they ended up doing together where they were paired again, and they did something that was kind of, I don't know, despicable. I hated it. Anyway, we'll talk about that, and we'll take your phone calls as well. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
Reese, thank you very much. And if you are heading into Hartford, this traffic report being brought to you by Amplify CT. 91 southbound delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Then you're going to see some more slow traffic as you move down by exit 19 in Meriden down to exit 17 for the Wilbur Cross Parkway. Northbound 91 losing some speed now between 20 Country Club Road in Middletown and 21 in Cromwell. Again, slowing by exit 22 in the Route 9 interchange. After that, good ride Hartford up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is running slow 56 Governor Street in East Hartford out to 45 Flatbush. 84 eastbound slowing 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 westbound slowing 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. 9 northbound slows Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound again tight from exit 36 up to 37 in the 72 interchange. Looks like that earlier accident northbound on Route 9 in Newington That has cleared between 37 and 38. It looks like it's over on the right shoulder now, so no lanes are blocked with that. If you're traveling westbound, 84 slows in Waterbury, 22 to the Mixmaster, 84 eastbound in Cheshire, tight, 26 down to the 691 interchange. If you're westbound 691 in Cheshire, you have an accident by exit 8B. It's blocking the left lane. Delays are approaching exit 7 behind that. Suicide doesn't come without warning. The signs of suicide are there: isolation, mood swings, hopelessness, increased substance use. These could be warning signs of suicide. If you or someone you know needs support, call or text 988 today. Learn more at amplifyct.org. Together, we can save lives. Traffic and weather.
Thank you, Michelle.
WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Sunshine mixing with a few clouds the rest of this afternoon. It will be pleasant. High temperature not far from 77. Partly cloudy tonight. Comfortable low 54. Times of clouds and sun tomorrow. An isolated shower around in the afternoon. High 78. Partly to mostly cloudy tomorrow night. Low 59. Sunday mostly cloudy and warm. A passing shower in the afternoon. High 82. Sunshine and clouds on Monday with a high temperature of 80. Right now it's 76 in Farmington, 75 in Windsor Locks, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
If you missed Odyssey's I'm Listening live, you can listen to it anytime at Odyssey.com. Just search I'm Listening under podcasts. This 1-hour broadcast event features some of the biggest names in music and sports and insight from some of the most respected mental health professionals. Spreading awareness about mental health and the message that talk saves lives, you can also hear the 1-hour WTIC's Mental Wellness at WTIC.com. Coverage of Odyssey's I'm Listening is sponsored locally by the Connecticut Prevention Network.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight guaranteed. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Also, stop smoking with Mark Patrick seminars. No matter how many times you tried to quit, this hypnosis is designed to destroy your desire to smoke without cravings, irritability, weight gain, or your money back. That's right. Weight loss seminar Saturday, September 20th at the Holiday Inn Express in Southington. Time is 11 a.m. Registration begins at 10:30. Stop smoking seminar starts at 2 p.m. Registration starts at 1:30. Information at markpatrickseminars.com.
Why choose Affordable Baths? Because they're the only ones that give you the price up front. The other guys don't. The other guys install roofs, siding, windows, and doors. Affordable Baths installs bathrooms, just bathrooms, and they use Kohler fixtures. The other guys don't. Affordable Baths has a showroom that you can see, feel, and touch what you're buying. With the other guys, you'll never see your salesperson after you sign the deal. At Affordable Baths, they're with you every step of the way. So the question is not why would you buy from Affordable Baths, it's when will you work with Affordable Baths. Keep it affordable at affordablebaths.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan. But if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/fax or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote. Here we go. ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. Before we went to the commercial break, we were talking about the film called The Rip with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. They're going to be in this film. And I said, I watch these sort of these groupings, if you will, in certain films. Like you want to see this pair work together, like seeing Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte in another 48 Hours. I'm like, I don't know why. But
it's like Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, exactly. They did that again. So the reason why I bring that up is because I was thinking of that movie Heat, where Robert De Niro and Al Pacino had never really starred in a film on screen together, even though they were both in Godfather 2. Where Robert De Niro's character plays in the past is in, like sort of like...
these are like dude movies, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
He's in the past and, and Al Pacino is in the present of that film. But anyway, they got them together in this movie Heat, which of course everyone loves, and it's directed by Michael Mann. And it was one thing that I caught as I was watching the film was that they made it interesting that Michael Mann purposely, and if you do not know this, go back and watch the film, you'll notice it, that he never put them both on the screen at the same time. In various scenes, they always had the back of the head of the other actor whenever they were doing, because Michael Mann thought, and in published reports, they said that having the star power of both men on the screen at the same time was too much.
Yeah.
So they always showed them opposite of each other.
I totally
makes sense,
that,
right?
Yeah.
It's a cinematic trick. Anyway, but at the end of the film, I hate to do the spoiler, one of the characters, of course, dies. If you haven't seen it, you know that they're in opposite ends. One's a bank robber, and the other one's a robber, and the other one's a police officer. Al Pacino is the police officer. At the end, it's over, and then one of the characters dies out of the two of them, which is an interesting scene. But even in that scene, both of them, one is facing the camera, and the other one is not, even in the last scene of the film. Now, move on, they do another film together because, of course, hey, let's get them in a film together. Heat was so huge. They do another film with 50 Cent called Righteous Kill. And the thing that they did in that movie that annoyed me at the end was that they switched which actor died in the film, sort of as a one-off. You know what I mean? It's like, it was so corny.
You died in that last movie, so now you're going to die in this one.
Yeah, It was so corny, and I hated it. I was like, dude, that's so bad. So, yeah, so I'm like, I don't want to see that. I'm hoping that watching this between Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, I know that it seems like in this Netflix film, they're going to be at odds with one another, that it's going to be two friends.
I think from what it looks like to me is it's not that they're at odds with one another. Their
friendship is going to be questioned.
There's just so much intensity involved. You love people, right? You love your best friend, and sometimes you're like, shut up and I'll punch you in the ear.
Yeah.
And sometimes, that, and I think that's what it looks like is going to happen. I think their friendship in the end of the movie, they're going to be fine. They're going to come back. It's going to be fine.
You clearly didn't watch this trailer.
They're going to go have a beer together. What do guys do? You punch each other in the face. One of you gets a bloodied lip, and then you go and you have a beer, right?
Go have a beer.
That's a guy thing.
That's how my friends usually did it. Anyway, let's get to the phones. A lot of people are. She was so funny. Let's go to Sean in Meriden. Hello, Sean.
Hi. I'm kind of banning Hollywood, so I appreciate the conversation, but it's really good.
No, I hear you.
Now, your wife's first name is?
Roseanne.
Roseanne. Congratulations on your newfound, your reinvigorated walk with God.
Thank you.
One of the things that I found, because when I was brought up Catholic, and then when I became a Christian, it was really kind of hard for me to read the Bible. I got a study Bible that had 4 translations in it, so that I could read like a layman's kind of like the New American the Living Bible, which is very watered down, and I understood that then.
Sean, let me interrupt you real quick. Sean, I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you real quick. Roseanne, tell Sean what you just purchased today.
I just purchased a study Bible today.
I just wanted you to hear that.
Because it was really, really cool because I could then read all the way up to the King James Version.
Right.
And then as I grew in my walk with God, and now it's been 40 years, it was really much easy. Now it's so easy to read, and I understand. And when God gives me, like, one of my life verses, I do this little thing where I have dog tags made for people with their life verses on it and give it to them so they can, like, be a child of God, and you know who you're really fighting for.
Right.
But one of my life verses is Romans 8:28, and the verse is, "And God causes all things to work together for good to those who love the Lord, and those are called according to His purpose." And what he's done in my walk with him is almost everywhere I've gone, no matter who is preaching or a word I heard on the news or something I heard, that verse would find its way between between Jesus and me. That verse would find its way somewhere in the context of what someone said.
Yeah.
Where I would know it's a confirmation from Jesus that, Sean, you need to pay attention to this.
Wow.
What I've been hearing a lot lately is be still and know that I am God. Like that's a huge move. If you know anything about me, it's I don't sit still and I don't be quiet. So be still and know that I am God.
That's my personality too.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to be a bull in a china shop as far as if you don't want to do it, I'll do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this. Yeah. But sometimes God says it's not for you to do.
Yeah. Right. Sean, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you sharing your faith. Thank you.
Yeah.
You got it. Let's go to Tom in Bristol. Hey, Tom.
Hi, Sean and Roseanne. It's really nice to hear you guys together.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I
want to thank you for having Jake on, Pastor Jake. You know, I've been to his church a couple of times, and his service is more traditional than I've been used to.
Mm-hmm.
But his sermons are amazing. He's so powerful. I mean, when the things he says, you know, there's a Dietrich Bonhoeffer. I don't know if you know who he is. He was a German pastor that stood against Hitler, and he wrote a lot of books. He was a theologian, and he talked about cheap grace as opposed to real grace.
Yeah.
And you know, like, and Jake, when he talks, you can tell this is for real. You know, when it comes from his heart, it comes from his experience, and he's been through a lot in his life, and it really comes out in his sermons. So if you pick his church, you'll find it well worth it. You know, I encourage you in that.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Republican leadership meeting the other night.
Oh, yeah. It's okay. The one that Pastor Dell was talking about.
That too. And it was encouraging to me, you know, especially some of the things that Senator Harding said, you know, about going, because he's the only one that really touched on social issues. Jake mentioned that only 30% of Christians vote. But that's true. And the midterms, they vote more in the presidential election.
Right.
But it's partly because, you know, they don't know what's been going on at the Connecticut legislature.
Yeah.
They don't know that they're passed a law to keep pornography in schools and in public libraries. They don't know they're passed a law to promote full-term abortion and to keep boys and girls sports and promote gender ideology and keep tampon dispensers in boys' rooms. And,
do you think,
know,
Tom, remind me to ask you if, and I know that you're only speculating here as to why when I ask, so forgive me for kind of putting you up to that. But if I were to ask you, what do you think keeps them in the dark? Is it because more folks of the faith are out of the outer world or involved in politics or like watching the news or reading newspapers? Is it an age thing? Because some of the people who are parishioners are usually older and not very political. Yeah. What do you think some of the reasons are?
It's true. But a lot of it is because the clergy won't talk about it. You know, now that, you know, there's a misunderstanding of the First Amendment. Totally. It's, you know, what the founders intended by the First Amendment, you know, the Establishment Clause, and you know, it was so, with the progressive courts in the 40s and the 50s turned it on its head.
Yeah.
To keep God, you know, to keep God out of government.
And keep government out of the church.
Right, exactly. But Trump got rid of the Johnson Amendment, so that removes one, you know, block from them talking about it. So,
but it didn't matter anyway, Tom, because if you looked at any one of, I mean, you go to any Baptist church in dozens, if not hundreds of communities, you know, I mean, I don't know how many times I had to watch Hillary Clinton showing up talking about I ain't feel no ways tired. I mean, like, it was way before the Johnsons.
It's a one-way street, you know. So yeah, I know it only applies, because we're not, the issue is this isn't a horizontal battle. It's a vertical battle. It's really good against evil. And the evil has a grip on the church.
It's true.
Right, they're asleep at the wheel.
Yeah.
So there's a group called Wake Up Connecticut, and there's a plan to go. They found they need 27 seats to take back the House, and they found there's 35 districts that can possibly be turned. So what they're doing is they're going to go to the churches in those districts, and if the pastor won't do it, then find people in the church that will.
Yeah.
And pass out flyers and let them know that our Connecticut Assembly has turned into the devil's playground.
Yeah. And it's not, Tom, we need to reiterate, because people, they will take your words and, twist them into whatever it is. We do have to understand, we do know that there are evil people, right? We cannot ignore that there are evil people. This is not an indictment of people. It is an indictment of ideas. Right? And you can, just like people have indicted Charlie Kirk, for that matter, for his ideas. What we are suggesting is that we need people to understand that there should be an indictment of ideas if they are destructive to our fabric as a society. Absolutely. And that's what we need to challenge.
It's really a spiritual battle. There's a verse in the Bible. We're not dealing with flesh and blood, with people. We're dealing with, principalities, powers, rulers of darkness, wickedness in high places. So we have to be armed with the truth. We can't go into it with hate.
Yes.
We have to go into it like Charlie did, with love.
That's right.
He had it down about loving our enemies, and that's effective in destroying those evil powers. Charlie was an exorcist with his words. Yeah. He trained kids, because these spirits, these demonic forces in the universities were on these kids. And when he spoke, they're like, yeah, that's right. The way he said things, it was just so enlightening.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then you think, wow, well, why was I thinking that way?
Yeah.
And things start to make sense.
And that's,
And
it's
that same spirit.
The beauty of that is, Tom, is that now they're on the record, and because of the events of Wednesday, more and more people will have access or seek access to them, because it's not just the people who already agreed with Charlie, or the people who are curious, who want to know why was Charlie shut down. Thank you, boss man. Hold on, I'm sorry. Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much. Go ahead, honey.
It wasn't until after his death that Jesus' message spread faster and farther. It wasn't until after his death that Martin Luther King Jr.'s words, or his sentiment at least, was spread further and wider.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately,
the benefit of Charlie is that it's a different time from JFK and Martin Luther King Jr. Now it's an immediate.
Video.
Right.
It's on
immediate.
video. I got it. But what I'm saying is as horribly as it hurts, and it still hurts. I can't even look at his picture because it makes me cry. But he had to go now. You know what they say? It's better to burn out than to fade away.
That's right.
God took him now because this is when his message is most poignant and most powerful. It is going to be the most effective.
Yeah. We got to take a break. Well, we'll get back. We'll be on the other side, folks. Stand by. We'll get to your phone calls, and we'll wrap it up for the week when we return. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, sir.
All right, Reese, thank you. Southbound 91 coming into Hartford, delays 34 down to 32 A and B. You'll see more slow traffic, 25 S and N down to exit 24. And southbound 91's a little slow, 19 to 17 in Meriden. Looks good on the northbound side of 91, Cromwell up into Windsor Locks. Westbound 84 slows just after 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound's a little tight, about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue. Looks good, 291 through 84. 2 westbound is running a little slow as you move from exit 1D up to the 84 West merge in East Hartford. Quiet Middletown. If you are heading 691 westbound, look for some slow traffic from 7 up to exit 8A and 8B that takes you to east and westbound 84 in Cheshire. Accident there is cleared, so that will start to ease out now. Westbound 84 in Waterbury slowing 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound's a little slow at the Mixmaster. Heading into New Haven, 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Traffic brought to you by the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association. Before our children get to school, they're on the roads, on sidewalks, in crosswalks, riding bikes, and waiting for buses. So put away the distractions and slow down. School's in. Drive smart. A message from the Connecticut Police Chiefs Association and Connecticut DOT.
WTIC weather. Turning to partly cloudy skies the remainder of this afternoon. High temperature not far from 77. Tonight will turn out partly cloudy with a low of 54. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun. It will be comfortable. There may be an isolated shower in spots later in the afternoon, high 78. Partly to mostly cloudy tomorrow night with a low of 59. Rather cloudy on Sunday with a passing shower in the afternoon, high 82. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
75 degrees at 5:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. The man accused of assassinating Charlie Kirk had expressed opposition to the conservative activist's viewpoints and indicated that he was responsible for the shooting. That's what authorities said today as they announced the arrest in the killing. Governor Spencer Cox said at a news conference 22-year-old Tyler Robinson had become more political in the run-up to the shooting. He'll be arraigned next week on capital murder and other charges. An arrest has been made in connection with a sexual assault last month in a New Haven dog park. Police say 34-year-old Ludwig Carius Interiano attacked the victim August 9th while she jogged in the park, pulled a box cutter on her. He is charged with sexual assault and unlawful restraint. 2 people are in the hospital following a crash this afternoon involving a car and a DPW lawnmower in Enfield. The crash occurred this afternoon in the area of North Main and Enfield Streets. Those involved were treated for serious injuries, according to police. Longtime Democratic Congressman John Larson has announced his re-election plans. He did so this morning in his hometown of East Hartford, the 77-year-old facing the first serious primary challenge since he was first elected nearly 30 years ago. Cheshire's animal control officer has stepped down, this in light of an investigation into the conditions at the animal control facility. That announcement made at a meeting Thursday night. President Trump says he is sending the National Guard to Memphis to address crime concerns there on the heels of deployments to L.A. and Washington. Wall Street, the Dow down today, 273 points. The NASDAQ set a record 22,000 in gaining 98. S&P was down 3. Red Sox and the Yankees tonight from Fenway, 6:10, the pregame here on TIC. Mets try to snap a 6-game losing streak when they host the Rangers. Eastern League, last weekend of the season for the Yard Goats. They're in Richmond, 6:35 on the Odyssey app. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, summertime is here, and that means vacations, summer barbecues, outdoor parties, camping, beaches, and so much more. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're like many men, you may not be feeling like yourself this summer. Perhaps your energy is low and you aren't sleeping well. Maybe your workouts aren't as good as they used to be. Maybe even your sex drive is off. And if what I'm describing is you, it's very likely you're suffering with low testosterone. But low T doesn't have to affect you anymore. Just call Northeast Men's Health, get treated, and see how it changes your life. If you're like most men, you'll feel so much better. Deeper sleep, improved vitality and clarity, greater strength and energy, and an improved sex drive as well. So call us. Just $99 gets you a PSA and T test and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 6 offices across the Northeast to serve you, including our new office in Warwick, Rhode Island.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Han, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was.
I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty. This promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
I've only got 4 minutes here, if that, probably about 3.5 too. But there was something that this young lady, Batya Unger Sargon, has said. I want to play this a little bit.
One side of the political aisle in America is heavily armed, and it's the other side that commits the vast majority of political violence. You know, there's a tacit admission from the left that their side is the violent side, because if somebody, God forbid, if a big left-wing influencer, God forbid, was killed, what they would be doing immediately is boarding up every single major city in America, because there would be rioting and looting. People would die. We know that tens, if not hundreds of people died during the BLM riots. And obviously, none of that has happened, and none of that is expected to happen, despite the fact that the right, whose avatar was just murdered in cold blood, is heavily armed, right? So there is this tacit understanding from the left, even as they call the right the source of all the political violence and fascists and Nazis and what have you, that actually the right will not pick up their arms and turn on their leftist neighbors, right? They rely on the forbearance of their conservative neighbors who are much more heavily armed not to actually take revenge.
That is a key point in all of this. Not one person has boarded up a thing.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
One thing. And you know what it reminded me of? We had a person that used to call us up in Virginia. I remember I was outraged. I remember sharing about it at a meeting. This person would call me time and time again and help him. Come pick me up so I can go to a meeting. And then one time I hadn't heard from him in 5 weeks. And I remember when I went to his house and I went to pick him up, and I chewed him out the entire way as we went to that meeting. And then in the meeting, I had realized something. A light bulb went off. And I said, that man hadn't heard from me or talked to me in 5 weeks. And 5 weeks later, he knew he could call me to get him to a meeting. And the reason why he knew was because he had faith in my sobriety, not his own.
Because the children know that the grown-ups have restraint.
That's right.
The Democrats are the children. We are the adults. We have restraint. Now here is where we have choices, right? Turning point. This is the turning point. We can allow them to continue to scribble all over the walls with their permanent ink markers, or we can go into the room, yank the marker out of their hand, and make them sit down and shut up and think about what they've done while we go and do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about that because, you know, that's true. Like 5 weeks, I hadn't talked to the guy, and he picked up the phone. Why? Because he had faith that I was definitely on my program. He didn't need to see me, didn't need to talk to me, but he could rely on me.
Everybody's going to take a knee at some point. Every single human being will take a knee at some point and feel like the weight of the world is on their shoulders. And every single person knows where to turn in that moment.
Yeah, they do. I just wanted to play that. I just saw that. Batya Unger Sargon just said that on Piers Morgan's show. Prophetic. Oh, to a fault. Profound. Let's get another check of the weather and traffic, and then we'll wrap this whole puppy up when we return. Here's Mark Christopher. He's at the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you. And this traffic report being brought to you by Columbia Implant Center in Manchester. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32. And again, you'll see slow traffic from 28 down to just about exit 24, the Silestine Highway in Rocky Hill. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is tied up just after 56 Governor Street out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84 okay, 2 westbound slowing as you merge with 84 West and East Hartford. Quiet Middletown, Waterbury slightly slow, 84 westbound, 22 to the Mixmaster. If you are heading on the southbound side of 95. You got delays 46 to 44 in New Haven, and southbound 91 slows from exit 4 in toward the 95 interchange in New Haven. Stuck in traffic again? Don't waste another minute. Columbia Implant Center in Manchester gets you in and out fast. Often in just one day, open 7 days a week. Get your smile back now. Columbia Implant Center, ColumbiaImplantCenter.com. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Quite pleasant the remainder of the afternoon. Temperatures holding in the mid-70s. Then for tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 54. Times of clouds and sun tomorrow. There may be a stray shower later in the afternoon, high 78. Tomorrow night turning out partly to mostly cloudy, low 59. On Sunday, a front moves into the region with mostly cloudy skies. There may be a passing shower in the afternoon, high 82. Behind that front, clouds and sun. It should be dry on Monday, high 80. Tuesday, partly sunny, high once again 80. Right now it's 75 in West Hartford, 75 in Middletown, and 75 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Smerbeck in the WTIC Weather Center.
Looking for the best ways to prepare for retirement this year? Then be sure to tune in to Johnson Brunetti's Money Wisdom tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. right here on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Are you looking to hire? ZipRecruiter finds the best candidate for your job fast. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Join us this Sunday for Tumalo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father-son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumalo Financial, retirement planning with integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Suicide is something that affects all of us, and we can all play a part in saving lives. Make a difference in your community by walking out of the darkness with us on Saturday, September 27th at Bushnell Park in Hartford. Help spread awareness and understanding. Send the message that help is available and raise funds for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Register today at afsp.org/CT Capital Area, and then we'll see you in Bushnell Park September 27th. WTIC News Talk 1080 is proud partner of the American Federation for Suicide Prevention Out of the Darkness Walk. I can't get the signal. Okay, seriously. Now there's absolutely no excuse not to listen to WTIC News Talk 1080. You can literally hear us anywhere when you listen on your smartphone. And now you can hear us on the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and the TuneIn app. So pick your favorite and search and follow WTIC News Talk 1080 in the app. Then listen wherever you are. It's really that easy. So no more, I can't get the signal. We've made it easy. WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, and TuneIn apps.
Mint is still $15 a month for premium wireless. And if you haven't made the switch yet, here are 15 reasons why you should. 1, it's $15 a month. 2, seriously, it's $15 a month. 3, no big contracts. 4, I use it. 5, my mom uses it. Are you playing me off? That's what's happening, right? Okay.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, $15 per month equivalent required. New customer offer first 3 months only. Then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Here's the tale of the daily med fill. Same old pharmacy, same old bill. But those prices kept rising higher still.
Till the savings wrangler rode in. Cool as can be. Tap Good RX. Saving massively.
No plan? Don't matter none. Up to 80% off. Deals are done.
Discounts hitting harder than Ma's chili. Dang. That one little app does all the rest.
Save time and money on prescriptions.
Check GoodRx. GoodRx is not insurance.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a health.
I was about to say, this is going on a little long.
Restrictions and important safety information.
Want to boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You
You know who it is.
It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
I thought it was appropriate to put his picture up there before we wrap all this stuff up. I know you can't see his picture without crying. Some people just sent me a message and said that they feel the same way. Can't look at his picture without weeping themselves. We're going to remember him all weekend and, if not forever, Charlie Kirk. We'll get to your phone calls in a quick second. We'll get back to normal to some degree on Monday, as far as the show is concerned. As all of this news is developing, and we're going to get into so many other places, we do have to deal with some local business. We still got elections coming up in Connecticut. We've got to deal with that. It is somber, and I wanted to be appropriate, and I hope that I was. I don't get to decide that, you do. And I hope in some ways you have been, if not inspired, but thoughtful and considerate and measured as a result of this show. We're trying to keep that. I don't want to be, it's not so much about being explosive and trying to, let's market something off this. I have a responsibility, and it is one that I place on myself. No one has placed it on me. No one asked me to do this or do that, and if they did, I missed that email. I'm going to do things the way in which I do them.
Apparently you weren't listening.
Yeah, apparently I was not. Let's go to the phones. We're going to end with Kyle Zeleny out of West Hartford. We'll end with him, but let's go to Lori real quick. Hey, Lori, how are you?
Hey there, how are you? I first of all, I'm super excited for Roseanne, for you to have kind of your walk with Jesus reinvigorated. I'm super excited for you, and
Thank you.
I sent an app through the Facebook.
I got it.
That's super helpful to me in my Bible study. I can also send some pastors that do really great jobs with explaining, like verse by verse, that I follow. I'm a co-leader for the women's ministry at my church, so I am your huckleberry on all things biblical. I also just you know what, and Roseanne, I felt like you were so eloquent in saying that, when Jesus died, that's when everything happened.
Yeah.
And we need to remember, Charlie is hanging out with Jesus, having a ball, and I'm heartened by that. I take comfort in that, and I am also hopeful because there's a lot of young people in my life that followed Charlie and loved Charlie, and they are on fire.
Yeah.
And so it's, you take out the captain, but man, you've got all the soldiers behind him, and they're coming up and they're taking over. And I am very, very hopeful for that reason.
Yeah. Thank you, Lori. And I did get the app, and I'll forward it to her. I appreciate you.
Awesome.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
You got it. Michelle D, by the way, she says, this is for Roseanne. Roseanne, read Romans chapter 8. It is the perfect summary of the Christian faith, Michelle writes. And she also says to watch The Most Reluctant Convert. It's a movie about C.S. Lewis's journey from being a complete atheist to a believer. It logically arrives at the conclusion that Christianity is true. She sends blessings.
Even Einstein came
Yeah.
to the conclusion that God is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Dave in Bristol. Hello, Dave.
Hey, Reese, real quick, I'm not going to go throw nothing out. I want you to just maybe like overnight tonight, check out John Larson's I'm Running Again speech.
Yes, I did hear a little bit of it during the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. And it is already on my list of things that we're going to discuss on Monday.
All right, you got to listen to the whole thing. And thanks, Roseanne. Your wife is a peach. I love her.
Thank you.
Keep having her on.
Thank you, sir. I definitely will. I knew marrying her was the first thing I did, right? Having her on the show has been so far the second. So I'm trying. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate
It was
you.
like a third time, right?
No, she's the fourth, but that's another thing. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you, man. You too. You know what? Let me take Wall Street, and then we'll get to Kyle. Hello, what's up, Wall Street?
Hi, Roseanne.
Hello.
Hey, Roseanne, with this religious situation with you, I've been following. You've heard of Ed and Lorraine Warren, the late Ed and Lorraine Warren, Reese?
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, they were the ghost hunters out of
Right.
Connecticut.
Right.
And they were in the middle of the Conjuring movie. They were technical advisors. Well, the whole thing I'm saying is, have you told Roseanne about the dream home?
Okay, no. Wall Street, no. This is not appropriate
The
now.
dream home?
Yeah, okay, listen. Joe, Wall Street, you and I, we're going to have a talking to after the fact.
That's great. Get back to my dream
Let
home.
me get to Kyle real quick. Joe, God love you. I will talk to you on Monday.
Conjuring home.
I know what you're talking about. I'll talk to you on Monday. I got to go. I don't want to discuss real estate with this woman. It's the reason why I live here.
This was an impulse buy, by the way.
This was an
This
impulse
house was an
buy.
impulse buy.
Let's get to Kyle Zeleny in West Hartford. How are you, sir?
Hey, Reese. Hi, Roseanne. How are you guys?
Hey, pretty good, man. I mean, all things considered, we're trying our best.
I know. So I'm obviously pretty distraught and pissed off, frankly, at the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Sure.
It's hard to describe how much he meant to our movement, the kind of role model he was to young millennial and Gen Z men especially, but really to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I'd like to publicly solicit both of your advice on something.
Okay.
If anyone's going to tell me I made a mistake and I screwed up, I'd like it to be you two.
Okay.
So, I make a lot of posts from the West Hartford GOP X account. I'm not the only one who does it, but I do most of them.
Okay.
And in response to someone posting, it was either Murphy or Blumenthal's reaction to Charlie, the situation. And they asked if I thought it was genuine. And I replied, and this set off a bit of a firestorm on the Facebook political forum. I replied, no, they love to tacitly encourage violence against the right until something actually happens. And then they're quick to save face and put out some generalized statement seemingly against political violence. But the modern left, including the Democrat Party, is rotten to the core, offers no good ideas, only socialism, division, and identity politics, and has been thoroughly corrupted by evil. They must be defeated.
Now, are you asking me my opinion of the post?
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts on that? Give it to me.
Okay, now I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's only a small fraction I would change. And it is what I always call the accusatory nature with the broad stroke. And what I mean by that is there is, when I put a post up, if I can give you an example, I put a post up that said, if Charlie Kirk didn't deserve to die, by their own words, what did he deserve? And when you hear people answer, they start, and you'll even go to my post, you can see people saying, he said this, that, and they ignore the question. Because I was very direct in the question. What did he deserve? And all they wanted to talk about were things that he said. Why are they doing that? Why are they avoiding the direct question that I asked? And the reason is because they want to say, honestly, that what he deserved was what he got. But in order to do that, they deflect.
To justify.
Exactly.
In their own.
It's like I read earlier in the what's name where the person says, I take no solace in Kirk's death, however, which completely removes,
negates
everything you said before. So when you're doing this, the question that you are asked or the question that's being posed to you is about those who have tacitly, as you put it, promoted violence in their terms, right? On their terms. Like, we need to fight back, as Chris Murphy says. We can't abide by the law anymore because Donald Trump does not. When people say, we wouldn't do this if Donald Trump didn't do that, you have to address the actual statement. Where you went beyond that is when you were talking about the Democrat Party writ large. Now, even if I agree with what you said, it goes away from the direct question. So if I were to say anything, only answer the question you're asked. And I would treat it sort of as a lawyer does in a trial, right? When he says, when I ask you a question, I need a yes or no. One, because yes, he is pigeonholing you in that point, right? If it's a yes or no, because you're saying, but there's much more nuance than that. There's a reason why he only wants a yes or no. Also, if your lawyer's asking you a question that is a yes or no, if you feel a need to explain, you are hurting your explanation by you're having to explain for somebody to get your reasoning. So I would say if you write something like that, and even if you know that it's going to be inflammatory, stick to the question and answer only that.
Yeah. And I would say
It was in the. Oh, yep. Go. Yep.
Good.
what everybody remember those bracelets WWJD that
Yeah.
everybody's wearing in the
What would Jesus
early
do?
late 90s?
Yeah.
I posted WWCD. What would Charlie do? And the reason why is, how would Charlie have handled the response to his passing? What would Charlie have said if he were here? He would have been more loving. He would have found a God-centered way to address it, right? We are required, because of who we are, because of our love for America, because of our love for our country, because of our love for our faith, we are held to a higher standard. That higher standard is, I no longer get to act selfishly based on my fleshly response. My fleshly response is violence. When I first came into AA, my nickname was Stabitha. I was a very angry, very frightened, very volatile young woman when I first came into AA, right? I've learned that I had to put away my fleshly desire to seek vengeance and to hurt other people, and do it in a way that would be pleasing to my God. And my God wants me to draw people closer to him. And what's going to draw people closer to him is not attacking, not vitriolic. It's going to be compassion and kind and loving. And sometimes that kindness and that loving is going to hurt feelings because nobody wants to see the truth, right?
Yeah.
But I have a responsibility to deliver a message honestly, faithfully, and lovingly.
Let me let Kyle respond to that, because I do have to wrap up the show. Kyle, what do you say to both of those answers?
No, I think you guys, I accept that. I think you're spot on. And what maybe the post should have been, it's beyond obvious to me that the Democrat Party and their activists and media allies have normalized rhetoric that dehumanizes and demonizes the right, especially Trump and MAGA. And it's far beyond anything the right says about the left. And there are people that say it's both sides, but it's really not.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no, we know that, but that's not something we need to prove. You know,
Right.
you always have to remember that. It doesn't matter. You can say 1,000 times. No, it's on both sides. I don't care how many times they say it. It's never going to be true. And I don't have to prove a falsehood. A falsehood is a falsehood. The truth always stands out.
But how do we get people to realize that it's the left that created this permission
Just keeping
structure?
the example.
just-
people like Charlie is just.
It's as simple as
they're not getting it.
No.
Just keeping the
It's not
example.
about. See, that's the thing you have to understand, Kyle. It isn't about them getting it. Once you put a destination in your journey, the journey no longer matters. You've focused on at the end instead of understanding where you are. It's not about whether or not they reach that place with you or if they reach it ever. You just have to be steadfast as usual. And I want to say this, and Kyle, thank you, because I do have to wrap this up real quick.
Yeah, thank you guys.
You got it. Roseanne, real quick. So
I do think the mission is not to, change their minds. I think part of the mission is to just not get it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You have to get it yourself. And once you're steadfast, once you understand where you
I
are.
mean, I don't feed into their garbage. I don't get their muck on me. And as long as I don't get their muck on me, I walk around and other people can see that example.
You said something incredible about that. And the thing, and I think that the most important thing is that what would Charlie do? Because at the end of the day, Charlie was not the guy who was out there punching people in the ear. He was doing
praying.
it. He was praying, and he was praying for them. And he had a huge following. The reason why Charlie Kirk is Charlie Kirk is because he did it the righteous way. And we need to continue that path. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC and Charlie Kirk in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning. So plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. She's Roseanne on the radio. Say goodbye, Roseanne.
Goodbye, Roseanne.
And we'll see you guys back here on Monday. Mark Christopher, he's in the BPS Traffic Center. Good weekend, sir.
You too, Reese and Roseanne. Have a great weekend, everybody. Enjoy yourself this weekend. Southbound 91 coming into Hartford, delays 34.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you,
down
sir.
to 25S.
What a week, huh?
Yeah.
Real good 91 North.
Gonna have a nice weekend.
Thank you,
Well,
man.
I'm doing a lot of stuff, but
Governor Street.
Okay, well, you're
out
going to
to
win some
45
money,
Flatbush
right?
Avenue, 80
gonna win some motherfucking money.
46
Can I
Avenue into
hold
the tunnel.
$20?
Looks
No,
good
he
for
cannot
91.3,
give you
14
$20.
stars, okay, glasses.
Never take a man's money, you crazy
Middletown.
ass lady.
84 westbound
All right, bro.
sluggish,
I'll see you
22 up to the
on Monday.
Mixmaster.
Yes, sir.
All right, boss.
And if
All right, folks, we are out of here. Michael C. Assault near. I saw that. It was in the news break, Mark. Yeah, we're like I said, I know that I missed a lot of Connecticut news this week. I'm sure you guys understand that. You guys are always pretty understanding, but this was one of those weeks, and we got so much stuff to get into, of course. Jesse Waters is doing a thing this Saturday that I got to see at 7 o'clock about Charlie Kirk. I want to check that out as well, so I hope you will as well. Roseanne, thank you for talking about your journey into faith. If I forced you into that, I apologize. But
Listen, I will approach this the same way I do with my recovery. I live out loud. I'm an open book. You have questions, ask. If I don't want to answer, I won't. But
yeah, it's interesting because as you were talking about being in AA, one of the things that I thought
press
about
radio and films. That keeps
Yeah,
coming to
yeah,
my mind.
press radio and films, right? So it's
Right.
like, but you know what? We are not, because one of the things that the tenets of that is we're not to talk, we're not to promote it,
Right.
in the sense, right? Because we
I
are.
am the example of AA, and
Right.
as long as I continue to live, and just like I'm the example of my faith,
Right.
as long as I keep living the right way and bringing, we had a drill sergeant say this to us in basic training one time. When you put on your uniform, you may be the only example of a United States soldier that anybody gets to see. So act accordingly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I approach these other elements of my life is
Yeah.
I may be the only example, so I have to behave accordingly.
Yeah, and I know that it is a program of attraction and not promotion, but I love it when you talk about it. I love talking about it because I kind of feel like when I don't, I am
Hiding, being
I'm
dishonest.
I'm hiding and being dishonest,
Yeah.
and
it feels a little dirty to not
to not
give
talk
credit
about
where
it.
credit's due.
Yeah, it's
right?
like I am the person that I am today
because of my recovery.
because of my recovery,
Yeah.
because of where I am, and I am not ashamed of it.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, and I never want to feel that way, and not talking about it as a
Becoming
fabric
an-
of who I am.
Realizing that I am an alcoholic has been the most amazing experience of my life. I love the fact that I'm a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah,
I love it.
it's funny. That's it. You and I share that. It's like we really do revel in who we are because without it, like we wouldn't really. I don't think
we wouldn't be together.
We wouldn't
That's
be together.
for one.
We wouldn't experience the world.
I
and
would
way-
not be alive today. I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't.
And to be honest with you, I really do believe that, I am here as a result of that. I told you one of the first stories I ever read was, the recovery
pilot.
about the pilot,
Mhm.
and it's such a, I read that story. I remember the first time in a meeting hearing that story and I went, yeah, all right, whatever. And now I witnessed that, like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's the revelation of it all. It's like those things, the ninth step.
9-step promises.
Yeah, that's.
I was talking to my cousin about this when we went to visit her that I needed to be right-sized, right? All of my isms, all of my bad behavior are God-given instincts out of proportion.
Yeah.
I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be needed. Acknowledge me, please. And so I did everything I could to get what I thought I needed. And when I got sober, I learned that those are normal instincts. But mine were just out of proportion. They were chaotic and they were dominating my life. I see you laughing. Yes, but that's just because you're my husband.
No, I just know I know what you're talking about because I've been there. I've just been there.
Coming into AA has allowed me to be right-sized. It's allowed me to take those ridiculous antics and put them in the right size. It's like zooming in and zooming out on my phone. I got to zoom out and say, wait a minute, I'm just a tiny little thing in this grand universe. I'm not that important. And you know what? It's okay to not be that important.
right.
But that's allowed me to learn to be more humble.
Maybe that's the reason why I'm so uncomfortable with the promoting, like,
Because you
follows
went and
all
got you some humility.
Yeah, that was one.
Grew yourself a conscience. I know,
Yeah.
and I've because we've been away from meetings for so long, we've been away from our own community for so long. I feel like I have lost a tremendous amount of my humility and my I guess that's what it is, just my humility. But you know, watching videos of Charlie Kirk where he's God, it's just this one where he's talking about observing the Sabbath, and he talks about being a husband and a father, and his wife talks about how he has changed as a husband because he turns off his phone for one day, and he's just a husband and he's just a father. He's not Charlie Kirk. He's just her husband. And I see the way that she looks at him.
It's okay.
And I want to be that wife to you. I think you deserve better of me. And that's kind of my aim, is if I'm going to be the wife that I know you deserve, I need to humble myself. I need to recognize why God has put us together.
Well, I want to stop you and only to say this, is that I never ever fret about what I deserve.
I do.
Because I know, but I always think about, my entire life. And I remember when Eugene used to say this all the time, and he says, sometimes I have to stop and think. And T, who married us, also used to say it too.
She said the black guys.
But he famously said in a meeting that I'll never forget, T says, I also have to think about the fact that God didn't give me what I truly deserved.
Yeah.
And that's powerful.
That is grace. That is the definition of grace. I didn't get what I deserved.
Yeah.
And thank God for that.
Yeah.
I did terrible things when I was drinking. I
Yeah.
drove drunk with my children in the car. What kind of mother does that?
Yeah.
God didn't give me what I deserved. He gave me grace and he gave me mercy.
Yeah. I love you, baby.
I love you too.
All right. Folks, as we always say, please be good to each other. At least that's something I try to promote here. We will see you guys on Monday. All right? We love you. Be good.